Welcome back, Summoners and Summonettes. This is going to be the League of Legends Championship Series North America Expansion Qualifiers. I'm EGAD, Daniel Caruso, and joining me here is going to be TJ, Asmo Cutie Sanders, and we have another best of three coming to you guys live in the studios in Burbank.
Yeah, this should be really exciting stuff. We got Complexity White taking on the Monstar Kittenz.
If you don't know who they are, you will after this.
You definitely will. Yeah, these guys have some exciting rosters. The Complexity White roster is sort of the, I guess you could call them the B team of the Complexity. They have two members of the previous LCS team, and they actually qualified through the ladder, whereas Complexity Black qualified directly because of their participation in the promotion tournament for the summer 2014 LCS split. So these guys have a lot of experience together. They haven't been together that long because of the nature of their roster, but we should be able to see some great games from them.
Yeah, and if you don't know which members from Complexity are on there, you got Westrice and Kez, so they're coming through. And it looks like we actually have the picks and bans set up for you guys, so we'll go into that as well as the rosters coming on in. If you don't know who Monstar Kittenz are, I'm going to go through the rundown of them. Chump John, who's actually replacing one of the members because he was underage, unfortunately, so he'll be coming in as a newer member. We'll see if the communication is intact for their team. X-Sojin, who is the jungler, and then it's Arc Second, who's going to be playing in mid. A little unknown factor, so we'll see how he pulls through. Plays more of a control-y style with those mages, and we'll see how that goes for him. Hanjaro and Hoofspark in the bot lane. If you don't know who they are, they've played a ton of the challenger scene. Both of them are actually married, which is cool. Not to each other, but they are married. And one of the older members on this team is Hanjaro. He looks like Braum. He's a big dude. And he's like 30+ years old and playing this game at a professional level, man. There's no limits.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if that partnership that they have in real life will transfer to the bottom lane here for these guys on the side of Monstar Kittenz. But of course, on Complexity White, we actually already have the bans. Westrice up top, Kez in the jungle, Golden Glue in the mid lane, and of course, you may know him as Impactful, but he's actually going by Mabry Baby today.
Josh Mabry.
Josh Mabry, and Low Pally as well.
Yeah, Lol Pally's kind of been one of those players that's been all across the challenger scene. He's played on a bunch of teams. I believe it was Low Pro he was playing on previously beforehand. And Golden Glue, formerly of Dignitas, he's playing the LCS as well beforehand. He's been bouncing around the challenger scene quite a bit. And even Impactful, they've been all over the place. The bands that coming on through. Xerath, more of an Arc Second targeted band. He's kind of been actually coming up in the challenger scene a little bit. He's got a lot of good range, good control, wave clear, all that you need. The Draven, that's a Hoofspark special. That is something that needs to be got every game. He's known for his challenger play. I've had the opportunity, excuse me, to duo queue with Hoofspark, and it's scary. He gets aggressive. He gets very aggressive in that lane. Yeah,
there's not many people at the challenger level that have played as many Draven games as Hoofspark, and so getting that off the table is a big deal. And of course, the Janna as well, that's something that Hanjaro has been playing a lot of. And even the combination of Draven and Janna, it is ridiculously sick. The bonus AD from the shield just makes those axes from Draven hurt a lot, so they're going to take that one off the table.
All right, and then the three bands come out from the side of the Monstar Kittenz, taking away Kez's Rengar. Also could be Westrice, as he's played at top quite a bit. Jarvan, so 2 bands away from the potential jungles, and then Kha'Zix, so make that 3.
3 jungles.
As they want to take all that out. These are all champs that could be played up top for Westrice as well. He could play the Kha'Zix up top. But that frees up Gnar, the little monster.
Yeah.
The little monster is going to be seeing some play here, as he's been deemed quite powerful by a lot of players.
We've actually seen him banned in most challenger scene games, and we saw him banned earlier today as well. So it's not many times that Gnar gets through the picks and ban phase, or at least the bans phase, and Westrice has been playing a lot of Gnar. Gnar and Aurelia are the 2 champions that he's been spamming in solo queue and ranked 5s and in their scrim, so he's definitely comfortable on that champion.
I'm surprised we didn't even see it in a Kali, you know? Just throw out a little Westrice old special just for the old time's sake. But we're going to see if he can put that little rage machine to use. Meanwhile, from the side of Monstar Kittenz, we're going to see a Corki actually picked up here for Hoofspark in that AD carry position. And then Sojin, Lee Sin, that's what we have a note about. That's one of his better jungling champions.
Yeah, and actually Sojin is also a Wukong player, one of the only remaining Wukong players, and one of the players in this tournament who actually brings that champion out. Lee Sin, I believe, is his most played in solo queue and is his most played in a lot of the scrims and the games that they have played, so not surprised that they go with that Lee Sin. That's been the most highly contested pick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested as to why they went Corki. You have Caitlyn, you have Jinx that can come out as well, very hyper. I know Corki has a lot of safe survivability with the Valkyrie. He can get out. He's got a lot of good poke as well with Phosphorus Bomb and the missiles that he shoots through. But I'm interested. I haven't really seen Hoofspark play that too often. I've been a little out of contact, unfortunately, with him, but I guess Corky's going to be one of the comforts. And there's Kez going back to when he was on Cloud9 Tempest. What he would play? Elise, just nonstop. Back in the day when everybody was just picking her nonstop.
Yeah.
And Syndra.
Kez is actually one of the most control-oriented junglers in this entire tournament. He rarely goes aggressive early on. We might see it a little bit this game since he picked Elise, but his main role on the team is to provide vision and to provide control in the early game. And the big thing for Complexity White is getting Golden Glue going. He's sort of criticized among a lot of challenger players for, at least on the highest level of play, having a small champion pool. Really, it's only Syndra, Zed, and Orianna that he likes to play in. And the team sort of centers around his success around the laning phase and the mid game. So Kez's job early game is really just to babysit Golden Glue, make sure that he gets the CS that he needs, make sure that he can play aggressive, and then transition them into a solid late game for him. Yeah,
the thing with Golden Glue, he had a tough time in the LCS, you know, Undignitas, he wasn't performing up to par, so coming back in a big way here in the challenger scene in Complexity White, so having a good time. And now, if that Alistar gets locked in, oh, it does! So Corky Alistar, this lane is something you will probably never see. It's so rare to see Alistar with Janna. You know, you got Nami as well, a lot of good range. Thresh, Braum. Thresh and Braum are still completely open as well. So we're going to see Hanjaro whipping out the bull with the horns. And you can't milk those. So we're going to see as well Rumble up top. Going to be going to Chump John, who similarly, the icons look alike between Gnar and Rumble. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
But the last two picks are going to be the more meta picks in the Lucian and the Thresh. Complexity White.
Yeah, impactful, or maybe baby, as you see on your screen here. He's been playing quite a bit of Lucian. His champion pool is actually really big. Lucian just seems to be the strong mid-game pick to deal with the Corky. And of course, you mentioned Hanjaro and Hoofspark are sort of the wild card bot lane of this tournament. They have a lot of pocket picks. Don't be surprised if you see things that you haven't seen in a while or haven't seen ever from Hanjaro down there in the support position for Monster Kittenz. But definitely a surprise pick there with the Alistar, but I'm sure they practice it a lot. And of course, the Jace pick, that's, if they hadn't already picked the Rumble, that's a flex pick for them because Arc Second and Chump John both play a lot of Jace, so that can go in the top lane and the mid lane. But of course, we see the Rumble pick there.
I'm feeling that the Jace is going to go mid. Against the Syndra, Rumble would have a terrible time dealing with those spheres. So there's the picks locked in, and we'll see them swap it around. I'm pretty sure Arc Second is going to be picking up that Jace. And we're going to see a Gnar for the first time. This is a Corky Alistar bot lane that's going to be coming to fruition. Alistar, he's good at dealing with CC towards the later levels. That level 6, he's able to just pop that Unbreakable and... Not Unbreakable, the Unstoppable Will, I believe it is, and just go to town. Headbutt Pulverize is probably one of the best initiations of the game when you have Flash Up. But dealing with a Thresh and a Lucian in lane, the 100% Wife Steal combo down there, it's going to be tough. He's got a heal, though, in his kit, so he can sustain a little bit.
Yeah, Alistar is a really great sort of passive play support. He can go aggressive with the Headbutt Pulve combination, but he has good sustain. He has great peel for his AD carry, so they should be in an okay position, especially against the Thresh Lucian, which is known to go aggressive. I think the big lane to watch here is actually going to be Chump John versus West Rice up in the top. Both of these guys actually love to split push. They love to put on map pressure, and they love to play super aggressive, but Rumble can sometimes have a hard time against Gnar, because Gnar can act as a really big lane bully, especially if he gets ahead early.
And if you have any opinions or predictions for this match, you can tweet at us at LOL Esports, hashtag LCS expansion, and see who you want to win or what you think about the bot lane matchups. This is going to be actually absurd. It looks like we're going to be ready to hop into this game as they are loading onto the Rift relatively soon. And this is going to be one for the ages, as you never see Alistar anymore. I'm actually just really hyped. As a support player, seeing someone bring out someone who's been kind of tucked away in the cupboard for a little bit, gathering dust. It's nice. Headbutt Pulverize, man. I hope Hanjaro's on point today.
Yeah, and these teams are actually a little bit further apart than we saw in the last match. The last match was the middle of the pack, and this match they're a little bit further apart. Complexity White was actually the 5th seed from the ladder, so the 7th seed overall, and Monster Kittenz was actually, I believe, the 9th seed.
They're a little bit down there.
Yeah, so a little bit different rankings there, a little bit more gap between these guys on the ranked 5 ladders, and I've talked to Monster Kittenz, and they're a little nervous, but they're not scared. I mean, we've talked about their pocket picks. Of course, the Alistar that you're really excited about. I'm really excited about too. Yeah, so looks like we're jumping in the game.
All right, so we have it loaded up, and here we go. This is going to be the second match of today. It's going to be Complexity White taking on Monster Kittenz, and we're excited. I hope you guys at home are excited. And don't forget to keep tweeting at us using that hashtag as we're on to the Rift. And we're going to see the first Gnar of the day as well. That's going to be Westrice, known for his assassins, known for being that tanky man. And this is going to be good. Kez on Elise jungle too.
Yeah, it's a lot of throwbacks here. And Kez has played quite a bit of Elise, but that's not something I really expected to see a lot of in this tournament, because especially with Rengar, Jarvan, Lee Sin, a lot of these top-tier junglers that a lot of these teams have picking up. But of course, we saw 3 jungle bans, so you got to resort to something. I'm
wondering what he's going to go. Is he going to go for the more AP-ish with the Spectral Wraith, or will he pick up the Ancient Golem? That's my big question. And Monstar Kittenz, I don't think they're going to try to hide anything this game. They might try to invade a little bit later up there, but they ping out the ward. I think Westrice spotted it out, so if they try to loop around, that could be a little messy for them.
It'd be a little messy, but the #1 way to surprise a team and get a lead early on against a team that you may not be favored against a tougher opponent, is to have crisp level 1s. We see a lot of these lower tier challenger teams, I mean, not bad challenger teams, but lower on the ranked 5s ladders, have really creative and really solid level 1s, and that's what I'm really looking for today. Maybe in this series, but we'll have to see how.
Look at him. Look at Gnar. But he's going to turn into a big bad monster with that Rage Gene eventually. You know, we haven't really talked about Gnar as much. You know, he's got that the boomerang to throw back and forth. When he catches it, he drastically reduces the cooldown, which is something that I foresee actually getting nerfed because of how fast it goes down on the later levels. He's got the hop for some mobility. He's got a passive that'll end up triggering on a 3rd attack for some extra damage. So it's pretty good. And we'll just see them go for the typical starts. Red buff, though, for Sojin, and Kez for the blue, so they'll have mirrored jungle paths.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Westrice has been playing a lot of Gnar, and the way he plays Gnar is really aggressive and really pressure heavy. And I talked about Complexity's style. They love to split push, and they love to control vision on the map so that they have Golden Glue having to have a safe start and a safe mid game. So they're really going to be looking for, watch Kez focus on the top side of the map in the mid a lot in this game. He's probably going to build an early Sightstone because that's usually what he likes to do to really control that vision in the early to mid game.
We can see that from Sojin as well. The Lee Sin. It's pretty more common to see a Sightstone on the Lee Sin. But this bot lane, we haven't really talked about it too much. Relic Shield for both supports, so they're looking to get that extra sustain in the lane, as well as later on they'll get a little bit of extra gold on top of it. So as we saw before, it looks like they're keeping relatively even with each other. Both supports are saving up for that next charge to get the cannon minion, as that is very important for them as they split the gold, and it'll help them farm up just a bit.
So looking around, I mean, there's not too much different going on. You talked about the bottom lane. I don't think there's really going to be much action down there just because, I mean, Relic Shield both start. Alistair has a lot of sustain. Both these guys are going to have a lot of sustain. I mentioned top lane's going to be a lane to watch. Mid lane's going to be a lane to watch.
Everything is.
Well, yeah, it's and top lane is probably going to be where a lot of action happens just because of how much pressure Westrice is going to be able to put on. Gnar has, we talked about a little bit earlier, everything you really need in a top laner. Wow, Chump John putting on some damage.
He's overloaded though. He's got to be careful, when that silence is applied. You don't want to take too much damage. Oh, a nice stun comes in from Golden Glue in mid, but this is going to be a very poke-heavy lane with Golden Glue should be coming out on top. It's relatively ezy to dodge away from those shock blasts. And then Sojin, he's made his way down bot. They know that there are no wards in those brushes, so if he wants to, he could stay down there, but he'll just mosey his way back down. Just putting a little scare tactic in a Complexity White's bot lane.
One thing about Golden Glue that he does a lot is go for the instant level 6 skill, especially on Syndra. You can see right away he's already aggressing. And Arcsecond really has to make sure that he's aware of his health total as he approaches that level 6.
That dissonance through the creeps, but they're not going to commit fully towards it. They do just get a little bit of harass, but it's so hard to actually stick damage when there's an Alistar in the lane. It just keeps on healing.
It's so hard for either of these bot lane duos to be able to engage just because they have like the ultimate peel supports going on down there. So
yeah, now that you mentioned that, like the peeling that the Alistar can provide, the headbutt, the pulverize, he's got the exhaust on top of it. So it's going to be tough to kill this lane, and Alistar is, I believe, the tankiest support in the game when he's in that earlier stage. So with the Relic Shield on top, it's so hard to kill him. And actually, we did see Arcsecond get forced back out of his lane, so Sojin's going to soak up some extra gold and some XP.
And this is sort of how Complexity White loves to play.
Oh, look at that awkward angle from Low Pally, but there's the great response from Hanjaro, just a headbutt right away. Get out of here, Marby, baby. You ain't touching Host Spark.
Yeah. But yeah, this is exactly how Complexity White loves to play. They like to win the laning phase and transition into late game. They split push a lot, they get Golden Glue going, and that's how they win games. And right now, you look at the gold, that's 500 gold lead, 600 gold lead just from being stronger in lane. The top lane CS discrepancy, the bottom lane CS discrepancy, and we talked about how good Golden Glue is playing in the mid lane right now, bullying him out, and of course how aggressive he likes to play once he hits that level 6 on the Syndra. I think Complexity White is probably happy with the start that they've had to this game.
I would be happy too. You know, your mid lane's getting some good farm and forcing Arc second back in that minor XP. Oh, Sojin. He's walking forward. There's a ward actually spotting him out. Golden Glue is not level 6 though. Does find a nice little stud on top of him and just applies a little bit of harassment. We'll prevent him from scouting up that river any further. They might be pulling in Kez. They have the Lantern available. If he finds a death sentence, this could be pretty dangerous. But oh, that phosphorus bomb didn't connect on a little Pelly? Interesting.
They're trying to, they have Kez in the river, so they have the backup. And of course, look at those items. Kez, first item, Sightstone, doesn't even upgrade the machete, just goes straight for that vision. And you can see there's already 4 wards around the dragon area and around that mid lane for the side of Complexity White, and this is just Kez being Kez right now.
Yeah, I love the control he's exerting right now, but Sojin coming from behind right now, trying to get some pressure onto Golden Glue mid, doesn't find the Sonic Wave, and he'll just safeguard away. He's looking for something. He wants to set up some early aggression, but this Complexity White side, they can play as passive as they want to and be completely content. Oh, Kez found the pink ward that Sojin placed out. Oh, and Arc second, gonna take a bunch of damage. There's the Unleashed Power. Can he find the kills? The question. Nope, he cannot. He'll force the flash, and that's a big cooldown down for Arc second.
And the gold lead just continues to grow for Complexity White here. Already almost 1,000 gold ahead just from the laning. No kills yet. Oh!
Headbutt pulverized into the wall. Barbie Baby's just going to dash away. Low Pally's there peeling him off with the Flay, and they can't do much to each other here. Just a swift headbutt and they're done.
Yeah, and again, it resets, so this is going to be pretty rough. The one thing that Monster Kittenz has going for them is they have a pretty explosive mid-game team fight. They have a lot of ways to make initiations with Alistair, with Lee Sin. Oh, but we do have a hook.
Goes on to Hanjaro. They're going to end up throwing the Lancer to Kez. Can he find the Cocoon? No, he cannot. Hanjaro's just going to sidestep, and he'll be fine. So, again, just impossible, it feels like, to kill these bot lanes.
Yeah, even with the jungle pressure.
What is he doing right now? He's trying to sneak this one in. There is a ward that spots them out. This could be very dangerous right now. Low Pally's making the rotation on in. Kez is behind him. They have to know that they have to stop this right now. I would not recommend going back in onto that. Death Sentence is not going to connect. Meanwhile, Low Pally's trying to start a fight here. Hanjaro gets the Pulverizer, turning it around. There's a teleport coming in from Gnar in Westrice. As they turn around, there's the exhaust going back in. It's a repel on top of Pusspark, but a counter teleport comes in from Chump John with a great equalizer, slowing down Kez and forcing out his own flashes. Flash after flash. They cannot secure anything, and overall, just 5 members. It's going to be a full 5 versus 5 if they want to keep on doing this.
And again, it resets. And Alistair actually survived with such a sliver of health the last tick of Ignite. If there was one more tick, he would have gone down. But still, we have no first blood, even after double teleports to the bot lane. But really, that seems sort of a desperation attempt by Monster Kittenz. Their bottom lane was behind. Their mid lane wasn't in a great position. Golden Glue had back, but other than that, they really had no point and no real reason to start the dragon at that point in the game, and they almost paid for it, but they didn't lose any kills, but they're still falling a little bit behind in this game.
I like what Arcsecon's building right now. He's building an early Hex Drinker. He's got the longsword and the null magic mantle, so that shield is actually deceptively huge in the earlier game, and it could block out a tremendous amount of damage from Golden Blue Center there, and we'll see him just pick up a blue buff, head back to lane. And Chump John, he's hanging out here. They clear out the wards, and he's starting it. But Sojin is a long ways back, and there's a ward to come in from Low Pally, so they know what's happening. And I'm a little questionable about this play. Monster Kittenz are really forcing out this objective. They have 5 members there, so why not now? Kez is going to go steal red.
Yeah, the way they're doing it is smart, but they're just sort of doing it to try and get themselves back to the game because they know that they're going to keep falling behind if they don't try to make things happen and get some global objectives. That brings them awfully a lot closer in the gold count. It's about 500. But at the same time, Kez picks up a lot of control on the top side of the map.
They're prepping the sphere.
Oh, wow. He doesn't see it.
They get the Cocoon on top of it. There's the Unleashed Power on top of him, and he will end up dropping to the Ignite. Will he survive? No, he's got the junk shield, and he will stay alive. So, again, Scrapes, no first blood. No first blood for 10 minutes.
Slivers of health. These guys are surviving with the Ignites. Not quite enough to take these guys out. And again, no first blood. How long are we going to go without a first blood? We do see the first turret going down. We saw the first dragon. So first blood is all that's left.
All right, and the first turret gonna fall to the top lane as Gnar being left alone. And he built an early Brutalizer too, so getting some good armor penetration. Oh, Headbutt Polarize comes through from Hanjaro. Try to initiate onto Low Pally, but they just get the burst damage and they're content with that. He's got some biscuits though that'll be munching on, and he'll just sustain back up, no problem.
It's really hard for them to lose trades, but at the same time, it's becoming really hard for Hanjaro and Hoofspark to win trades as well. It just seems like these guys have absolutely no kill potential. But looking across to the top side of the map, though, is where the largest CS discrepancy has formed. 40 CS Westrice is up on Chump John. And a little bit of that is due to he went down for the Dragon, but a lot of it's due to just the nature of Gnar in lane and how much of a bully he can be. You talked about the Boomerang, such a low cooldown when you catch it, and then of course he can just go into melee form and initiate on you if you get too low. So you got to be really careful up in lanes against that. Rumble, not really known as a strong laner in general.
No. He does end up losing out to range pretty hard. Oh, Arc second. Will he be forced back out? He doesn't have his Hex Shrinker. This is one Unleashed Power and he's dead. Golden Glue doesn't have Flash available. Sojin gonna make his presence known again. Doesn't find Sonic Wave. He's got to be careful himself. As those spheres keep hitting, they will have to watch out. Westrice up top, force the flash away. He does have Hop, I believe. Yes, he does. So he could try to get out of there. But again, this is Chump John actually exerting an advantage that he can make up there. But in the mid lane, this tier 1 looking to fall.
Sojin has seen opportunities to gank, but it seems like he's really hesitant to pull the trigger. He's actually missed a few Sonic Waves. And just by the way he's positioning, it actually feels like he doesn't want to land the Sonic Waves because he feels like he's going to die if he jumps in.
Maybe it's just nerves, you know?
It could be nerves. This is the first game for these guys.
Yeah, so maybe that's affecting him just a little bit. There's Mega Gnar going back to base. Once that Rage Bar fills up, he does transform. And Golden Glue, he's found himself a hefty amount of farm as well over Arc second. So struggling just a bit there on that Jace. Normally we just see Jace, you know, Shock Blast and be fine with it, but he is having a tough time for the veteran in Golden Glue.
It's really rare that we see this type of play happen at a competitive level where a team just solely focuses on the laning phase and getting vision around their lanes to win a game. And that's exactly what Complexity White's doing. They're not trying to make any fancy plays.
Yep.
They're not trying to do anything. They're reactionary teleports, reactionary counter ganks, making sure they cover the map with wards, and just winning lanes. And that's all they're doing across every lane. And those are some big discrepancies in the top and the mid lane. And that's not something that we see a lot. And they're really sort of putting it on Monster Kittenz to be the one to make a move, because if they just sit here, they're going to bleed out.
A nice stun comes in. Sojin's going to get blown up here. Will it be first blood? The repel comes through and the auto attack from Kez, and that'll be first blood at 13 minutes for Complexity White, and trying to set up some safety wards, but it just backfires.
They finally managed to pick it up.
1 versus 1 coming out from Hoofspark as Marby Baby going to pop the heal and chase him down. Relentless Pursuit. The calling comes through. He forces the flash out on Hoofspark. Stays alive just barely. Hanjaro in the meantime, he left alone. He left Hoofspark alone to go help out his team just a bit. Oh, he flashes forward and gets it with that Gunslinger passive. And that'll be the second kill of the game, going over to Marby Baby.
Yeah, now Monster Kittenz is in a really rough spot. They're starting to fall really far behind in this game. And, I mean, they have to sort of play to their strengths with this team comp. They have such great mid-game engagement.
I love
what they're doing. But at the same time, it seems like they're hesitating.
That was like a phenomenal play there. Throwing the Lantern to get vision, then just grabbing that blue buff over the side. Hanjaro's there. He's going to get flayed back through the head, but he's trying to do what he can. Throwing the blue buff on top of him and scattering him backwards. He does end up popping the ultimate, and Sojin, can he find a kick? He kicks Golden Glue into the wall. He's not going to be able to get him anywhere near his team. The exhaust is there to slow him down. They're chasing him out, but Golden Glue kiting. He's got that fresh blue buff on him. Sojin without any energy, and there's a great Dark Passage to pull him to safety.
And still, nobody on Complexity's managed to die.
Stun goes into the Sojin. Westrice, he's looking for it. He's just throwing those boomerangs and catching them, just being a pesky Gnar. Hops over the wall, trying to get that slow, but just can't find it. And Low Pally, he's sneaky. And we didn't really talk about, but Low Pally is a shot caller for Complexity White.
Yeah, Low Pally and Kez is very vocal, especially in the early game. We talked about that a little bit earlier as well. Low Pally was, I believe, the shot caller for LoL Pro as well when they were making their run through the NACS Challenger playoffs. So he's had a lot of experience with that. I mean, a lot of these guys have had a lot of experience almost getting into the LCS. Golden Glue had his time to shine, and Impactful almost made it. Kez had his time to shine as well, so these guys are really hungry to make it back, and you can tell they're playing so crisp right now, controlling the vision on the map, winning the lanes, and they're playing almost flawlessly at this point.
Oh, jeez, that's so annoying to deal with. Gnar is just... Look at that. Look at how far it goes back, too. It just doesn't matter. Oh well. But that's just them pushing their advantages. 4,000 gold up to this point, 3 turrets to none. And now they're asserting that map pressure in the opposing jungle of Monster Kittenz.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that they're not sending Westrice up in the top lane to try and shut Chumpjon out even more, but Hoofspark could be in trouble.
Flay? No, exactly. He's holding on to it. He actually dodged 1 stun. He does get Death Sentence and unleash the power, and Golden Glue will find his first kill of the game, taking down poor old little Hoofspark.
And that's just Complexity White controlling the entire map at this point in the game.
Look at the wards. There's about 6 on that blue side of the map.
It doesn't even look like there's Fog of War right now.
Nope.
They have the entire right side of the map lit up.
So hard to deal with. And also, Marby Baby, he picked up about a pre-15-minute Infinity's Edge. So doing a ton of work with the farm in that kill. As in the mid lane, they're looking for more. Cocoon connects on Arc second. They cannot find the Flay. He does end up getting pushed back. He's got the help of that Hextry to stay alive for a little bit, but Westrice up top. Meganar taking down Rumble. And that'll be just the 1 for none, and still proving to be pretty hard to kill in the mid lane. Monster Kittenz just barely making it out.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it's almost impossible for Chumpjon to be able to stay in the lane. He's 50 CS down. They aren't even there in Global Gold because of the 3 turrets to 0, even with the Dragon that they picked up. And it's just so hard to land against him. He didn't even use his flash in that situation because he knew that he was just dead. So this is just looking so rough for Monster Kittenz. And I mean, what do they got to do to get back in this game? It's going to be so tough.
A miracle headbutt pulverizer, like a miracle pulverize and headbutt Golden Glue in, and just hope that he doesn't flash out.
The perfect equalizer.
Yes, the real meaning behind the equalizer is to try to equalize the fight, but if you can't do it, Hanjaro, he's gonna pop that ultimate, he gets that pulverize with the flash in. Can they find their kill? But no, the Dark Passage is gonna pull Golden Glue to safety, and both teams, it's only 4 kills in 17 minutes, but they have such a tough time securing. There's not that much hard lockdown from the side of Monster Kittenz.
Yeah, they both seem to be playing really passive team comps. It's weird, they're both sort of playing the same style. It just seems like Complexity is playing it just a little bit better. And that's where we find the low kill score. That's where we find the very passive lane strategies. Even though they're going for kills, they're not going all in for kills, and they're playing a little bit conservatively. Yeah. Which is, Monster Kittenz at this point cannot play conservatively. Hanjaro tried to make the big play, but really nothing's coming of it. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. A Gnar that gets ahead is one of the toughest things to deal with. He's just so tanky. With that Brutalizer, he can just chunk you down with the Boomerang, and now he's building the makings of what looks like a Sunfire Cape, and then on top of that, he'll probably get a Banshee's Veil, or Spear Visage if he wants to. But it's going to be near impossible to kill him once he transforms into that Mega Gnar. And he's so disruptive in teamfights when he gets into that Mega Gnar form that once he gets tanky enough, he could still do a lot of damage, provide the initiation, and just be a huge front line, which is something that Westrice does all the time. He's just headbutting it. Bashes it, doesn't care. He's lost all of his intel just to become a giant monster. Yep. All right, but he's putting that pressure down bot. He's going to split push away, and this is what Westrice does. You give him his room, he'll pretty much just take everything he can. Yeah, he's making Chumpjon look like a chump because Chumpjon's usually the one who does this. Yeah. He's the map pressure guy. He's the guy that's drawing 4 people to the top lane and then making it out alive, and he's just not able to do that this game because he's so far behind. He's trying to scrape up CS now, and it's just so hard because they're having to give the CS over to Arc second, they're having to give the CS over to Hoofspark, and they can't move very far out of their base and into their jungle just because of the vision control that Complexity White is exerting all the way across the map. Yeah, look at Westrice, man. Just goes into Mega Gnar. There's no one who can deal with him right now. Not even Hoofspark. He's trying to just clear out the wave and stop him from pushing as much as possible, but it's just too hard. Gnar, he is a very, very hard force to deal with, and if he even gets a nice combo with the Rage just built up and he transforms with a hop in and just Gnars people onto the wall, that is the name of his ultimate. It is his name. It's just a little ridiculous to deal with. Yeah, the one thing they do have going for them is that if they do manage to catch out Golden Glue, if they do manage to catch out Impactful or Mabry Baby, then they will be in a pretty good position. Chumpjon has hit a big power spike. That level 11 equalizer is a big deal in these mid-game teamfights. So if they can land a good one and they can get a kick or a headbutt pulverized on the Golden Glue, take them out of the fight, then they're going to be in pretty good shape because we talked about how potent Gnar is, but Elise is not really going to scale well as this game goes on, especially with his build. He goes for that heavy cooldown reduction build. He's basically going to be a cocoon bot as this game progresses. He's getting a little tankier, though. He's getting a little bit tankier, but Elise's damage is nowhere near what it used to be. No, they nerfed that quite a while ago, and
again, we saw Golden Glue steal away another blue buff from Sojin. That hurts Arc second. That hurts Sojin as well. He's 2 levels behind Kez, and he is just really suffering in this jungle.
Yeah, and that's something that Lee Sin can't really afford. Lee Sin, another jungler who doesn't scale very well. And his sort of initiations or CC are a little bit tougher to land and a little bit less forgiving than Elise is in the late game. So since he's far behind, look, he just finished the Spirit of the Elder Lizard at 20 minutes. Spirit of the Elder Lizard, Sightstone, and level 1 boots are all he has to his name right now.
I believe he has about 1,200 HP, so he is very squishy as well. He's got no resistances.
Yep.
Oh, that is pretty disgusting to think about when he's going to possibly get like 3 shot from Maple Baby, because that IE and then the Zeal, I believe he's going to go Shiv, and then that's just a bunch of bursts that you can't deal with.
Yeah, so right now, Vision Control, the name of the game.
Whoa! They found Low Pally. They're going to get the help up Pulverize. He's going to be able to shield him up just a little bit, but with some support from Golden Glue through the wall, they find a Death Sentence on top of it. Hanjaro has the ultimate, but Gnar flashing through, finding a Gnar ultimate at the Sojin. Meanwhile, Hanjaro just being a huge zone bot. Chump John comes in with the Equalizer, going to zone off Golden Glue just a bit. Meanwhile, they're just diving in. Low Pally finds himself a kill on a Chump John. Hanjaro and Sojin doing what they can, but not enough damage between the two. So one's going to fall. Looks like a second to go. Golden Glue will find himself his second kill, and just Westrice in the backline dealing with those squishies, taking them down one by one. Westrice, will he dive is the question. He caught the boomerang, and no, not going to find him on the comeback from that, and that'll be the tier 2 going down, and 3 deaths over to Monster Kittens.
And I mean, that's sort of what Monster Kittens had to do in that situation. They had to try and take advantage of mispositioning from Complexity. It was a decent equalizer from Chump John, but it wasn't anywhere near good enough to make them win the fight. Not only did they lose the fight, they didn't even manage to get a kill. So that's just demoralizing in itself. Right now, Complexity is having a perfect game. Except for the Dragon that they gave up at about 8 minutes or whatever it was, they haven't lost a turret. Nobody on their team has died, and it just looks like they're in the driver's seat for this game, and it's definitely their game to lose.
I mean, that last fight was probably one of the more optimal initiations they had too, but like we saw, just completely devolved into a massacre, you could say. And Sojin, he's trying his best to come back in here. He'll probably just tank up. I mean, if he goes raw damage, we saw what happened. He just melted. Even Kez was just doing a bunch of damage to him with that Venomous Bite combination coming in from the Spider form. So now we're going to see him take control of the Baron pit and most likely try to just push out the rest of these tier 2s and just secure Baron.
Yeah, it's still relatively early in the game to do Baron, 22 minutes. Their Baron taking team is okay, but it's not the best, so I doubt they're going to want to risk it unless they manage to get a pick or unless they're 100% sure that they have vision control over the entire red side area. But I mean, Complexity White can have a lot of wiggle room here as far as what they can do to win. They have a good power spike right now. They have the level 2 ultimates from their solo laners, and Kez is getting ramped up as well. So they're in a great position, and even if they make a couple mistakes, they can still win this game. It's going to be up to Monster Kittens to really find the perfect engagements, because that's the only thing that's
Chump
gonna
John.
get him back.
He's going to get stunned. There's the spheres coming through. Unleash the power, but he's actually pretty tanky, so he stays alive through the Ignite. He's got to heal from Hanjaro, but Sojin now, he's got to be careful, gets slowed up, safeguards away, but no, just so much damage coming in from this Syndra right now from Golden Glue, and even a Cocoon on top of it to harass out Hanjaro. And with that death, they could try to go for Baron, but I believe the safer play here is going to be to go for that mid tier 3.
Yeah, they have decent siege. Gnar can be a nuisance in siege situations because he just constantly throws out that boomerang, and if you get too low, if he goes in that Mega Gnar form, he will not hesitate to dive the turret for initiation.
That was a good attempt at the blind stun there, and looking for a Death Sentence, they can't do it. Hoofspark, he's got to be careful too, eating those spheres to the face. Having a tough time, but maybe Baby getting left alone. Gets free tier 2, and that's the last of the outers done. So once they move in towards this base, it is going to be a tough time for Monster Kittens. Honestly, I'd probably be thinking about maybe next game.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you really just want to sort of chalk up the loss and say, hey, what can we do better? What do we want to get off the table? What do we want to make sure that we do better next game to give ourselves a better chance?
Taking non-CC top and mid lanes kind of hurt them a little bit. The burst is great, don't get me wrong. A Rumble and Jace late game are huge assets with the combos that they can bring out, but this game, they needed something to help with the ganks from Sojin. That Lee Sin couldn't find anything.
He didn't really have any follow-up, and you could see him really trying to make plays in the early game, but there was just no room. He just didn't have any potential for ganks. He didn't have any potential to find early kills or early pressure. A lot of that was due to Kez building Sightstone as the first item, so all the lanes are pretty safe.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was exactly what you said. They just don't have the follow-up on these solo laners.
And again, just the whole red buff side of the map is lit up from Complexity White. So
Arcsecond has not gotten many blue buffs this game. I think he's only gotten one, maybe even zero.
I don't think he's gotten any, actually, because they stole 3, which is this current one that's on Golden Glue right now. So he is having a tough time. He finished a Miramana, which is a nice burst in damage. He's also 0/0/0, so he's been silently farming up and trying not to die as much as possible and just lay in some damage, but it's so hard. he can't initiate, he can't poke out. They're really sustaining, really taking. Look at Westrice. He's got his randoms and his Spirit Visage. Like, they can't kill him.
Westrice will just stand in the way in those turret sieging situations, absorb all the shock blast, and he's got a Brutalizer, but hasn't made much headway on that last Whisper, so he's not going to really be doing much damage to Westrice, who has armor.
Panjaro, he's going to pop the ultimate, but for how long can he survive through this? He flashes away. Sojourn's going to safeguard. They got Chump John on the back, so that Flame Spitter going to scare him away just a bit, as they might want to try to re-engage here. It's 4 versus 4, but without Hoofspark, they're losing a lot of damage.
Yeah, in Complexity White, they're playing conservatively, but they're also putting so much pressure on the map, and they're not overstaying their welcome in these fights. They probably could have chased further, but they didn't want to get caught in a bad equalizer, so they're just playing it safe, knowing that they have a gigantic lead, and just making sure that they keep control of the entire map.
There's the Baron. That should be free. I mean, if Sojourn makes some miraculous steal, then I see them trying to come back in. They're down about 12,000 plus gold at this point. They have to know. They have to be spelling this out. They're hugging the wall. There's the flash over. Unleash power. Wow. And Mabry, baby, will secure himself that kill. And that's another Baron. That's not another Baron. That's the first Baron of the game. Most likely going over. There's the Equalizer. Kez is standing in it right now. All right, so he gets a smite. There's a death sentence over, but Low Pally won't follow it through. A nice flight through the wall. But that's going to be that. Well, Westrice, look at it. Just headbutting. Do what he wants. Meganar goes where he pleases.
Just doing the old Westrice thing. He should be able to get quite a bit of damage on that target. Nar, not the best turret taker when he's split pushing, but I mean, he's getting there.
He's pretty good. He's able to just clear out the waves, no problem with the Boomerang, and just reset that up. So takes out the tier 3, and that's one inhibitor exposed now.
Yeah, and that's not only did they grab the Baron, but they also exposed the shell. And getting through that first inhibitor turret is one of the hardest things to do in a siege situation when you're trying to close out the game. So they should be able to just go back to base, buy their last items, and maybe even try and push for a win, or at least to get that bottom side inhibitor.
If they kill Arcsecond or Hoofspark, that's probably going to be 2 inhibitors, honestly. They can't deal with Westrice either. Like, he can just keep going in a solo lane and doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, and they're just going to get more global gold. At this point, they don't even need the Dragon Gold. It's a drop in the bucket for them right now with a 15,000 gold lead. Haven't lost a turret, haven't given up a kill, and at this point, I just don't know what Monstar Kittenz can do to even come back. Even if he'd managed to get in there and steal that Baron, I don't think it would have given them much headway in coming back in this game. They still would have been a lot of gold behind, and they still would have lacked that hard initiation that they need, because we see as soon as Sojourn gets anywhere near,
he's gone.
He's gone.
Dead.
He exploded.
Yeah. So this looks like this is going to be a potential death push here. As the death sentence comes through, he's not going to pull himself over. They do get a good stun, and they're going to kind of ignore them, just keep him off to the side, and now focus down this inhibitor, as this is looking to be the first one of the game. Maybe, though, got to be careful. He's still really squishy. He doesn't have a Banshee's Veil or anything like that just yet to give him that little bit of extra life, so he's got to be very mindful. But Westrice, he doesn't care. Look at him, just throwing the boomerangs. Doesn't matter at all. He's got Meganar ready if he wants to transform into it, which he will anyway, because he can't stop it. So he was just looking at position just in case they came in, and that'll be the first one going down to the bot lane, and should be able to cinch the second one in the mid.
Yeah, there's just not much that Monstar Kittenz can do
Oh, look at that damage!
Oh, wow, he almost goes down just from a little bit of damage plus the ultimate, so now he's got to go back. There's going to be a big opportunity for them to push down. They have to use the Equalizer just to push them off the turret.
It didn't even do any damage. It was just a zoning Equalizer, trying to just delay this game as much as possible, trying to get themselves back into it, but, you know, Hoofspark, he's down a whole item. He's trying to build his Infinity's Edge now, but it's just not going to be in time. I mean, they're still pushing down. They're trying to get the stuns. Complexity White just looking to close this one out. This is a methodical play. They're trying to keep it to a perfect game. 9 kills, 0 deaths. If they can keep it, this is very, very impressive stuff for them.
A lot of people talk about the quirky power spike once he finishes that Trinity Force and maybe even the Sork Boots.
Anything.
It just, the game passed him up completely. He hit that Trinity Force, but what was he going to do with it? He didn't have any opportunities to make an impact on this game, and that's sort of the story of these Monster Kittenz solo laners. Both those champions have potential.
Oh, he jumps in. Look at that kick. Just kicks him straight out of the air in the hop, but he goes in with the Gnar saying, you kicking me? Nuh-uh. He's going to turn around, knock him into the inhibitor. There's the culling coming through. They're doing a bunch of damage. Kez has to repel up. He's very hurt at this point, but they're just falling one by one, and it looks like Monster Kittenz, this is going to be the first game going over to Complexity White with a triple kill for Mabry Baby, making an impact in this game and looking to take it out.
Yeah, that was a near perfect game from Complexity White.
It was a perfect game. Nobody died.
They gave up one dragon.
That was, okay, objective-wise, yeah.
That was the only notch for them in this game, was that they gave up that early dragon. And I think they were actually really content with giving up that dragon.
Yeah. Because
they got so much CS from that. They got so much map control from that. And no turrets, no deaths. That was a really impressive performance by Complexity White.
I like it. Slow, methodical play. Keep it strong, keep it good. Keep the advantages going and rolling. So we're going to be having the second game coming up for you guys very soon.
Yep.
And, I mean, what can Monster Kittenz do for the next game? Their picks and bans, that probably need a little bit of work. I mean, the Rumble top, it's okay, but he couldn't deal with Gnar.
Yeah.
Like, ban Gnar. Just
I think
keep him out of this tournament.
That's first thing on their agenda for the next game, is to probably take that Gnar out of West Rice's hand. They have a little bit more leeway since they will be switching over to blue side this game. So if they want to take it for Chump John, they can leave it up. But at the same time, it might just be safe to just go ahead and get it out so that the way they can get some of their own comfort picks up in the top lane. But, I mean, that's got to be really demoralizing for Monster Kittenz. Aside from picks and bans, they really just got to get themselves together, shake that game off, and just have a fresh mindset going into game 2.
The bot lane, too, was another thing to highlight. Mabry Baby and Low Pally were very even with Hoofspark and Hanjaro. They were playing the trades back and forth very well, using the Relic Shields when they could and healing up as much as possible between each other. And it looks like we're going to get to see this second game as the picks and bans are coming up right now. No breaks here. We keep going. This is ESL. This is hardcore esports action.
Alrighty. Yeah, so we'll see what Monster Kittenz decides to do. And they're actually going to go ahead and ban the Syndra right off the bat. So one of the biggest strategies that a lot of these challenger teams like to do is when they lose a first game pretty handily like we just saw, they tend to just try and stop the momentum of the enemy team by target banning a lot of the strong picks that they went with the last game.
I don't like that ban, though.
It did have a high impact, but, I mean...
He's got Orianna, he's got
Zed.
Fizz, he's Zed. He can do a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
This man's champion pool may be a little small, but there's plenty of options for him to pick from. You can't ban him all the way. And, again, we're not going to see Arcsec and Xerath. This is something that I would love to see, but it's his best champion.
It's his best champion by far, and I actually watched a couple of their matches last week and a couple of their scrims last week, and he was getting solo kills on Xerath in the mid game, just picking people off left and right. He loves that control-oriented style of mid laner. Loves to play Orianna, Xerath. Even Jace, you saw he didn't really play it very aggressively. It's hard to play aggressively against Syndra.
It's hard to play control as Jace. I mean, you have Shock Blast and Acceleration Gate, but it's on a very long cooldown early on. Like, it's hard. But the band's coming on through. We're going to see the Draven away. We're going to see the Gnar away as well. So we're not going to see Chump John picking that up, unfortunately. And then there's the Jarvan and Rengar.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed we're not going to see Hoofspark's Draven. I'm pretty sure that's going to be permaban this entire tournament, even if Monster Kittenz makes it past. If they make it past this next game.
I mean, trying to get over the hill that is Complexity White that apparently is showing up for this event, wanting to make it through. And if they do, they're going to be playing against Curse Academy.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup. But Complexity White has been working really hard. We mentioned Complexity Black was the team that actually took Complexity's automatic seed. And Complexity White had to qualify through the ladder. And they were pretty high seeded, 5th seed from the ladder, and 7th seed overall, which is really impressive considering they haven't even been together very long. And brand new roster, so, and you can tell they're working hard. West Rice is a really big deal. He went from having the most deaths out of any player in the summer split of 2014 in the LCS and the lowest KD of any top laner to seeming like he's improved a lot and worked really hard to get where he is.
So we're going to see the Janna picked up here. A very up-and-coming pick. A lot of players have tweeted, have been in games. They say that they really don't like Janna. She's kind of the Elo honey or something like that. But we'll see Hanjaro playing him. Doesn't really fit his character. You know, he's a big brawly man. You feel like he's going to play the Alstars, the Broms, everything like that, everything manly. But we'll see him play the Janna. But Maybe baby, going back to the Lucian.
Going back to Lucian. That's probably the biggest comfort pick for him. And Kez as well, the Sightstone junglers. Elise, Lee Sin, those guys like to build Sightstone early on. Kez plays Lee Sin a little bit more aggressively than he plays other junglers, but compared to other junglers that are in this tournament that play Lee Sin, he actually plays it a lot more passively. So I'm excited to see that. And of course, Chumpjon, you mentioned, he's a burly guy with a beard, so watching him play Janna is really weird. And
no, Hanjaro.
Hanjaro, yeah, sorry. Hanjaro is actually a really burly guy, and he likes to play the Janna, though. I think Janna is probably his best champion. I think it's one of his most played in solo queue. He likes to play Blitzcrank as well. Don't think we're going to get to see that.
Blitzcrank really doesn't fit too well in the competitive scene, unfortunately.
Not right now. Outside of the hook, he really just runs around a team fight really fast with his arms waving.
All right, that's it.
That's it. I'm out.
Peace.
Yep.
All right, but there's an aggressive jungle for Sojin now in the Kha'Zix, so
yeah,
I want to see if he can get some plays going with that. There's something already better to synergize with it in the Orianna. You know, get the dissonance out, you get the slow onto the opposing mid laner, and then just isolate him.
Yeah, and Sojin, probably a lot of his playstyle is solo queue-esque. Yeah. We didn't really get to see it much in the last game. Maybe nerves. He was playing really passively, really conservatively on Lee Sin. But Kha'Zix fits his playstyle immensely. He's very versatile. He can go for a more farm-heavy approach. Yep. He can go for the vision approach. He can also go for the aggressive approach. And Sojin has a lot of games with Kha'Zix. It's one of his most played, so we'll have to see that. And of course, Arc second, going with a comfort pick here. He's playing that control-oriented mage. He's playing that Orianna. So looking to make some big plays with the Shockwave. Oh, the Zed.
We're going to see some big plays with the Death Mark possibly here.
Yep. For
Golden Glue. And then it's going to be the Wife Steel lane down bot again. Lucian Thresh. Looking to be the lane that they'll always go to if it's available from the side of Complexity White. Maybe Baby and little Pally. I like it. It's consistent. It's nice to play. A lot of good control, a lot of good safety you can have with the Dark Passage as well to pull him through with that Lantern. So that's a nice combo. I'm wondering if Hostpark is going to go back to the Corki. It was an okay lane for them, but it didn't do anything. He got his Trinity Force, but then it was like, now what?
Yeah, I'm really looking for more from him because Corki has the potential to really bully out in lane, especially once he gets the early Phage or the early Sheen. It really helps with winning trades, especially with the Janna. If they decide to go for the Corki this game, Janna is actually really good at trading because you put on the shield. Not only are you doing more damage, but you're also blocking a lot of the damage that's coming in. Oh, Chumpjon picking up the Aurelia. That is not only a big deal because Aurelia is one of Chumpjon's mains, but it's also a big deal because you're taking away from Westrise, which he's been playing a whole heck of a lot of in the past weeks.
Oh, Vayne now. Whoa. That's interesting because her range, very low. Lucian has no problem harassing her out. And the piercing lights, they're all so tough to deal with unless you tumble away from it. And then if you put that on cooldown, you have a tough time as well moving around. But I like it. It brings a lot of good late game. She's going to be able to have true damage with the Silver Bolts. She can chunk away through mostly anybody. Yep. But then she's susceptible to Zed. Getting one shot by Death Mark. You don't have a Quicksilver Sash or your heal up, you're dead.
I think the game is going to depend on Hostpark's Vayne play because you said probably one of the riskiest picks you could have made in this situation. All those things that you have to worry about. Plus, you're going to have a rough time in the laning phase with going up against Thresh Lucian. If you get hit by a hook on Vayne, it's especially with the Lucian there to follow up, and you mentioned how it's so easy for Lucian to be able to run in there and harass a Vayne. That could just be death because if you get behind on that Vayne, it's going to be really tough for you to get back into the game.
Indeed, and the last pick here is going to be the Malphite, so...
Oh, wow.
Westrise with the rock up top, going to look to see if he can smash some phases in with that unstoppable force. Yep. Taking TP in level 6, that's going to be tough to fight anything into because you can't go Dragon, you can't go Baron. You just always have that threat of just him just making a beeline straight for your backline.
This is like the quintessential Complexity White composition to me. I've watched a lot of their games over the past couple weeks, and they really, really go for this type of style. I can imagine that they're going to have a lot of split pushing going on for Golden Glue, and they're going to roam around as 4, gain vision, and might even look for fights with the remaining 4. A lot of challenger teams, a lot of inexperienced challenger teams tend to not deal with split push well. Yeah. And Complexity White is great at capitalizing on that, and especially with Westrise taking that Malphite. Malphite is a champion where you can do more with less. You can get away with having less farm because of the power of your initiation. And so he can really allow Golden Glue to get in there, split push, get the gold, get the CS, and win the game that way. And it can really turn a lot of heads.
All right, guys, so if you want to tell us about your predictions for this match, and maybe if it'll go to Game 3, see who you want to win, you can tweet at us at LOL Esports, #LCS expansion. So we're going to get into this game as soon as possible, as well as keep talking about these picks, because Irelia versus Malphite, you got some true damage to go through that armor. You got sustain and Kittenz style, equilibrium strikes, very a reliable stun, and then her ultimate just dancing those blades all the way through and healing up. So tough to deal with in that aspect. Mid lane Orianna versus Zed.
Yeah, that could be. And Golden Glue has so much experience on Zed. When he originally joined Dignitas, a lot of people pegged him as an assassin player. He played a lot of assassins in solo queue before he actually made his appearance on Dig and before he actually went over to Coast. Zed, by far one of his most played champions. And so he's really experienced on that. And the Orianna matchup is something that I know he has a lot of experience with. It's something that I've watched him play quite a bit of times. And he plays it really well. And of course, I mentioned the split push. He'll get a lead in lane, and then he'll translate that lead into other lanes, which is something that good assassin players really need to do.
All right, so it looks like we got the game ready. We're going to go into the Rift. This is potentially going to be the last game between Complexity White and Monster Kittenz. So we'll see what they can do here as they're ready to go. We're going to see if any cheeky invades come out and if any first bloods happen before 10 minutes this time.
Yep. I think it was 13 minutes that the first blood came in last game, so that was pretty ridiculous. But I don't know if I'll see it happening because both of these junglers were playing really conservatively last game. Top lane, that's a tough lane to gank for either side. Maybe Irelia a little bit more susceptible. I think Vayne is going to be a high priority target for these guys. It looks like they're actually either going for a lane swap here or just transitioning for maybe a late blue invade is the other thing that they could be going for with this positioning.
I mean, already up top, like Baby and Low Pally, they're sitting in that brush, they're sitting up, and I felt like they were going to go for a lane swap here, but I wouldn't really want them to. They could dominate that bot lane, but Janna's still pretty annoying. Vayne can dodge away, and they're going double exhaust as well. I didn't even notice this. I thought there was going to be a heal for Hoofspark, but double exhaust in this bot lane for the Monster Kitten side.
Yeah, we saw in the last series between with Zenith and Final Five, Prototype White actually
he took the exhaust.
He plays exhaust on mostly every champion, but
they had Rule 18 with heal. So
so not double exhaust. It takes a lot of coordination, I guess, because what if they both exhaust the same target in the team fight at the same time? So
maybe in a succession after one exhaust fades, like, all right, now you exhaust and we can keep fighting, Kern, kill them.
They're really scared of Golden Glue, I guess.
Yeah.
Making sure that he's exhausted throughout an entire team fight.
So we'll see now as Complexity White, they're making the aggressive motion towards that blue, and they will just go flat up for this invade and steal. And it will be that lane swap as well. Maybe Baby going to be going in with Low Pally up top, and then we'll see Westrise, most likely after he soaks up some XP, join down in that bot lane. So it's going to be a free farming Vayne, which is something you don't really ever see all too often.
Well, it might seem a little odd that Complexity decided to go for the lane swap, but I think there's a couple reasons why they did. One, they might have expected the lane swap themselves because the Vayne pick is really risky. They know that it's really risky, and so they might have expected Henjaro and Hoofspark to appear in the top lane, so they went for that control over the top side and went for the lane swap just in case. The other reason is shutting down Chump John, because they know that Irelia, if she has trouble getting going, she doesn't make an impact in the game. Where on the other side, Malphite, I said earlier, he can get away with less. So he can sacrifice some of that early farm and go around the jungle with Kez and not really get ahead, but still have a huge impact on the game once he hits level 6 just because of the ultimate alone. So those are the two reasons why they went for the lane swap.
I guess we'll never know for
sure. Wow, okay.
3-minute Dragon with Silver Bullets level 2 and Tumble. All right, this is a very interesting early call. I like it.
Yeah. As long as they can juggle the aggro pretty well, they shouldn't take too much damage. It looks like Henjaro's trying.
They're doing the thing where you toggle the aggro between one champion to another. It'll keep his auto attack stopping. See, Henjaro's done a pretty good job of actually mastering that, so I like it. Smart call, gets them a little early advantage, gets them a nice XP, but up top, Chump John. Oh, they're going to look for a dive on that wave push, but Westrise is going back. Yeah. Oh, maybe Kez is going to join him. This is going to be a 4 versus 1 dive, and Chump John might be put to a run for his money.
This could be pretty dangerous, though. Chump John is level 2. The Equilibrium Strike can hold someone under turret for a long time. Kez is only level 2. Westrise is only level 2 as well. I mean, if they can land the CC, they'll be good, but let's see.
He's trying. He's doing what he can. He's dashing around. He gets it out to Low Pally. They exhaust him, and Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike for Kez will pick it up, but not for free.
Executed.
He will get executed. So nobody gets that kill, but nice dive by Complexity White. Unfortunately, he loses the double buffs, and it'll take him a little bit longer to push this tier 1, but either way, they get that first blood, and it does go over to Kez, so he gets that early sight stone.
Yeah, but how much did they sacrifice to make that happen? Jump John's going to be able to teleport back into the lane. West Rice can't stick around. Kez is dead, so they can't follow up on that level 1 gank, so he's not going to be put too far behind. The biggest thing there is that they got the first blood, but at the same time, Kez not wasted a lot of time, but used a lot of time to make that gank happen, and Monsterkins is still ahead because of that early dragon, so Complexity did what they could to make up for that early dragon, but at the same time, it wasn't quite enough to make it an even trade.
Sojin maybe running into Kez here. Can't really see him doing the wolves, unfortunately, so he'll just strut his way back out, but he does get spotted out by this pink wolf that was actually placed out very early. So I like that. Kez, he's trying to get some control for his jungle, make sure that his blue buff doesn't get stolen again when it does respawn. And again, Sojin, he wants to keep this ward up. This is a very important ward for him. He needs to make sure that he can try to steal that blue buff for himself. A flash force down from Manjaro, a nice attempt to death sentence there by Low Pally, but that's a big cooldown the blow there.
Yeah, Sojin tried his best to get vision over that blue buff, but that's something we saw it last game as well. Complexity White loves to litter the map with pink wards really early on into the game. And you said it a little bit earlier, but Kez, on most junglers, even junglers that you wouldn't even expect it, he builds Sight Zone very early, either right after he builds his first spirit item, or most of the time, right even before he even builds that spirit item.
The duel for the ward, he got it, okay. So they trade one, but pink ward more valuable. That's right there.
So I'm a little bit confused by this decision by Complexity White, but they land the hook.
Oh, they forced out one of the exhausts, so a good bait, but Sojin is here now. There's the Howling Gale to come through. They were flashing in to try to get a condemn into the wall, but Hoofspark ended up getting knocked back, so he cannot do anything. And now the counter coming in from Kez. A teleport was actually canceled by West Rice, so Hoofspark will end up falling. There's a second exhaust to come through. Howling Gale gonna knock up one, but no, the Piercing Light from Mabry Baby. Gonna find himself one kill. Death Sentence forcing out another flash there from Low Pally, and that'll be the second kill of the game, going over to that Lucian.
That was just a lot of greed by Monsterkins in that bot lane. As soon as they realized that they weren't going to have a secured kill, Hoofspark flashed in to try and get that condemn into the wall, but an immediate reaction from Mabry Baby, from Impactful in that bottom lane, made it so that that was just a moot effort, and
now they're diving mid.
They should have backed out, and now the map pressure starting for Complexity White.
Oh, Kez is in 6-0, but a good shockwave coming in. Can he command protect himself in time? He gets one kill at least in this. He gets to protect the Ignite. He's ticking away with the potions, but no, Golden Glue will clean that one up with that Ignite, and that was a pretty ballsy dive, but trading 1-for-1 is a better scenario for Monsterkins.
Yeah, and the kill did go over to Golden Glue, so I said their team a lot of the time revolves around getting Golden Glue ahead. They will make aggressive dives. Kez will sacrifice himself and sacrifice his own gold and his own resources to make sure that Golden Glue has a good time in the mid and early game, and we're seeing just that, going for the dive, giving him a kill. Arc second did what he could with it. Great shockwave, managed to pick up a kill, but they're falling a little bit behind despite having that lead early on because of that really early dragon.
That really early dragon was actually a big offset for Complexity. Like they're like, we can't rotate in after a kill. We can't really capitalize the fact that we killed one down bot and forced out all their exhausts and flashes. So a really good mind game from Monsterkins.
This game is a lot closer than the last game, so you have to give them that. And they're controlling vision a little bit better this game. They're utilizing their own pink wards. Sojin has actually bought quite a few wards this game. We actually saw like 3 of them get killed in the blue bush alone. So they're making sure that they're playing a little bit more crisp, but at the same time, again, that's sort of falling right into Complexity White's hand. They're playing Complexity White's game, but we know that Complexity White is a little bit better at it just than the last game.
Uba gonna get tossed over here to Golden Glue, and can he click that lantern? Oh,
no, it's over the wall. No,
it's in the wall actually. Yep. But all right, so he has to take the long way around. He gets a blue buff, and he's building towards that Blade of the Rune King. So gonna try to chase people down with that, and just be a complete nuisance with it. Down bot, this tier 1, it's been taken very low for a long time, and they're finally gonna be able to finish it off.
Yeah. So this is the first tower that they've taken in this whole series. That's the key to victory for them, is making sure they get that first tower
a 100%
and that first kill
increase in turret kills.
And we didn't make a big deal out of it, but Arc second picking up the very first kill for Monsterkins in this series in the mid game. So they've broken it open. That's the start that they need to get themselves back in this game.
100% better.
Yeah, pull them up by the bootstraps.
All right, so We're going to see some good war control coming in from Monster Kittenz again, and they're going to go straight towards this dragon and try to make it a 2 for 2, as there is no vision from the side of Complexity White. So these dragons are just going to hand it over, and it's going to be a nice lead for them in the gold at least.
Yeah, they have a really great objective-taking team.
This game at least.
Yeah, maybe not turrets because of Vayne's short range, but as far as Dragon goes, as far as the Barons later in the game, their comp is a little bit better for it just because of the percent damage that you have from Vayne, the execute damage that you have from Kha'Zix, and their mid-game teamfight is actually pretty strong as well. You never want to underestimate a Shockwave, and if you get Vayne some cleanup kills in a fight, especially early on, it's going to catapult her to that late game faster, and she's going to be able to outscale Lucian.
Yeah, outscaling Lucian is a pretty hard thing to do, though.
Once
he gets like his Infinity's
Edge, you really got to get late in the game for Vayne to be able to get to that point. And you got to have a good front line, which I'm a little bit worried about their front line for Vayne in the late game. If they were the ones with the Malphite, they'd probably be in a little bit better position. But again, that Hoofspark, we've said it from the beginning. It's a risky pick,
but
I'm looking for it to be. Oh, wow.
Golden Glue. Deathmark. He has it available to him right now with his Ignite, but just north of the Shadow, he's just going to get out safely and not commit too heavily to this. He knows Exhaust should be up. There's the Deathmark coming in. Exhaust is going to get dropped. He pops the final hour. Gonna tumble, and there's a nice shield, but it's not enough to keep him alive, and they will pick him up on the counter there. So Sojin gonna grab that kill, and unfortunately lose the Vayne, but they traded out for a big kill in that mid lane.
Yeah, so Golden Glue, not the best trade for him, but he's going to set Hoofspark even further behind. He's already almost 30 CS down from Maybe Baby. He's not going to get back to lane for a couple more minutes, and that's just sort of the style that Golden Glue goes for, and that's just him playing to his strengths.
Gotta say, though, that was well executed by him. I'm surprised that the Janus Shield didn't keep him alive for much longer. Westrice, he's doing a bunch of damage up here to Chump John, but this is the power of the Aurelia, able to sustain on through and keep himself rather healthy. But with Kez moving on in, he's got those boots mobilities, and he's got a Dragon's Rage ready with his flash. So I assume that they're going to go for this kill on Chump John with enough mana for the Assemble Force. There it goes. The Assemble Force comes on in. Ground Slam as well. Flash swiftly out of that, but Resonating Strike following it on up. As they get the red buff, they try to slow him down as much as possible. And with the war jump and the kick and the auto attack, there it goes. Kez finds that kill, and nobody's going to die in response this time.
Yeah, so Westrice has actually been falling quite a bit far behind in this top lane, but now he's going to get a lot more breathing room with that gank from Kez, and Complexity White still, they're down a little bit of gold just from the objectives alone. 2 dragons and a turret, but so it seems like they're the ones who are the aggressors, and they're the ones who are making more moves as far as picking up kills and making map movements go.
So, a really good improvement, though, from Monster Kittenz is, you know, they got 2 dragons, they got 1 turret, and they have that minor gold advantage despite the kills being so far down. So, showing a much better performance this time, not falling behind in the creeps, but Hoofspark, he is 35 CS behind. He is struggling. He's having a really tough time.
Arcsecond's really redeeming himself, though. You can tell just how more comfortable he is playing that Orianna, playing that control mage. He's making moves in the mid lane. He's a little bit behind from Golden Glue on the CS, but I mean that's just because Golden Glue's been getting CS from the side.
Oh, the Shockwave comes in with the dissonance. Can they find the kill? Ignite gets dropped, and even with the shield and the heal, will he fall? One more tick, and there goes Arcsecond. Gonna find his 2nd kill of the game, and he's out of that Rod of Ages, so that was a big spike in damage for him.
A solo kill from Arcsecond. Now that's a big deal for them. That's something that they haven't had in this game or in the last match as well, so that's gonna be a big confidence boost for him. And he's got the Rod of Ages stacking. Don't see many Rod of Ages from Orianna anymore.
No.
But I like the build that he's picking up in this game. I can expect him to build a Zhonya's Hourglass at some point just because of the threat of Zed in the late game. But at the same time, I like that he's going for the scaling. Arcsecond loves to play for the late game.
Oh, Chump John gonna get dove down here. Deathmark, shurikens, everything all over the place. Juking around with the fancy feet. Golden Glue finds himself a quick and easy kill on that Aurelia.
And this is just what Complexity White loves to do. They send Golden Glue to split push. They try and defend this forward. And it's so hard to deal with the split pushing Zed because there's not many people, especially at this point in the game, that can go 1v1 with the Zed, especially since now he's got 3 kills under his belt. So they have to expend a lot of resources to stop him or just accept what he's going to be able to do in another lane, which is so hard to make those clutch decisions in the moment.
The fight for the blue wraith there. Red buff going to get tossed on over to Hoofspark, and are they going to look for any kind of initiation here is the question. But Complexity White, they're doing some counter warding, getting aggressive, trying to drop some wards of their own in the red side of the jungle, which they do. Meanwhile, you know, West Rice, Golden Glue, they've both been kind of splitting off. They've been doing their thing, pushing out the side lanes. Just that it's barely on the tip of the wing.
Hoofspark's doing his best right now to get as much CS as he can, but it just seems like the risk in picking the Vayne is not paying off.
No.
He hasn't completed an item. Granted, Impactful has not completed an item as well, but at this point, Vayne is just so far behind, 40 CS down from her counterpart in the Lucian, and just trying her best to pick up as much CS as she can, but Golden Glue's on his way down here, and that's going to mean it's time for Hoofspark to leave. Yeah,
he's going to have to hoof it out of there, but he's trying. He's going Infinity Edge first. Normally, you wouldn't see that. You would see the Blade of the Rune King, but Infinity's Edge, I guess he's going to look for those hopefully lucky crits on the tumbles, and that could be a huge spike in damage that he would need, but we'll see how it plays out. Getting the comeback Infinity's Edge is pretty risky. I'm not sure, I feel.
And once that Blade of the Rune King is finished for Golden Glue, there's going to be not many things that are going to be able to stand in his way. Chump John not quite even reached that Trinity Force, so he hasn't even gotten to the point where he's starting to build tanky. There's really not many tanky members on the team of Monster Kittenz. Golden Glue can pretty much have his way in these team fights. Yeah. There's not even a Mikhail's belt, or even not many pieces of the Mikhail's. There's the one piece of it, but it's going to be a while.
Sojin's going through. There's a nice Howling Gale and a 2 Shockwave. Is a complete whiff, but it doesn't matter. They find Lopelli on the back of it. West Rice with the Unstoppable Force is ready to go in as he TP'd down. He does end up going on a solo knockup on a Hanjaro with the ward on the top. Mabry, baby. That was some nice mechanics from him to just get that out of there and not have to use his flash, which is
Golden Glue on the flank.
Oh no, he's gonna go straight up the Sojin. There's the Ignite on top of it. Golden Glue stays alive. Chump John cannot find a response kill, but Hoofspark coming in with the final hour takes him down. So able to find one recovery kill out of that. Arc Second looking for one more command attack. Can he get it? No, it doesn't look like he can. Kez in the meantime is gonna end up, actually Arc Second does find it in mid. All over the place, all this action. Kez barely gets away, and it's just a 2 for 2. Actually a 2 for 3, excuse me. Hanjaro died in the beginning.
Yeah, a little bit of a crazy skirmish there that started all the way down close to the bottom lane and ended with Hoofspark and Kez trying to duke it out up by the top side red buff. So Monster Kittenz looks like they come out a little bit on top. They're down in kills from that fight, but they are going to be able to pick up the dragon, which is going to give them a slight gold lead, only about 500. Oh, 3 for 3. Okay, well, then they come out even and ahead with that dragon pickup, so that's going to be great for them. Of course, Hoofspark picks up a kill, is able to finish the Infinity Edge and start going with that dagger. So he's got going.
He's looking for that static shiv next, most likely.
Yep.
And then the same can be said for Hoofspark. I mean, I guess for completely going for Blade of the Rune King. I mean, I don't know what I missed, but I guess Vayne wants to get an IE when she's behind. But yeah, it's working out for him. He got that kill on Golden Glue, so
yeah,
he's doing what he can. Kez.
He's really going for that extra tumble damage from the bonus damage from the tumble. I'm sure he's maxing that first as opposed to the Silver Bolt's max from attack speed.
Wait, who got Hoofspark?
I think Hoofspark was the one who ended up getting that one in the end. I have no idea.
Wow, all right. Spite was still up 2 for Kez, but
actually no, I think it was actually Arc Second. Hoofspark had the blue buff from the
from the fight. Yes, he took off Golden. Okay.
So Arc Second has the blue buff as well, and his is fresh. So it was him that was able to pick that up. That's going to be good for him, and he's well on his way to building what looks like, I'm guessing, it would be the most logical choice would be the Zhonya's Hourglass.
Yeah. Just go pure tank, like tank mage.
Yeah.
Get all the damage you can, all the health and armor you can. Just try to negate what Golden Glue is trying to do to you and assassinating you. And it's just a good response to Deathmark, man. You just get hit by the Deathmark, wait a second, and boop, just Zhonya's and you're good to go.
What Monster Kittens have to do is make sure that their carries are going to be okay in the late game against Golden Glue.
This is going to be a huge flanking onto Golden Glue right now. Flashing away Chump John, but there's a shadow there for Golden Glue to get himself out of there. He does slow them down just a bit. The Howling Gale is not going to be in range, so this is the epic chase, and maybe the epic getaway as Golden Glue is running away. Shadow's one way, going to get hit by the ball and slow down, but there's a dark passage from Lopelli, the savior of Golden Glue.
Yeah, that was a really risky attempt at a play from Golden Glue, but that's just how he plays. He didn't really have much vision going on the entire top side of the map, and he still tried to go for that solo kill. Well, I guess Chump John was the one who initiated it, but still, Golden Glue trying to make that split push work, and it seems like Complexity is the ones who are sort of trying to scrap here. They're sort of trying to make things happen. Monster Kittens, all of a sudden, has seemed like they're the ones who are making the plays, and they're the ones who are controlling the map. They feel a lot more confident now. They feel a lot more comfortable with the game, Jump John's finished that Trinity Force. He's starting to go for the tank build. Once the Zonu's Hourglass and the Mikhail's Crucible are finished for Arc Second and Hanjaro respectively, they should be in a pretty good spot as long as they're able to shut down Golden Glue in those team fights with double exhaust. Shouldn't be too hard. But once they're able to do that, they should be okay.
Yeah, that exhaust combination from the support and the AD carry is going to be a real hindrance to Golden Glue.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be like, all right, I'm death marking in. Oh, I got exhausted. All right, exhaust is gone. I'm going to shadow back in. Oh, I'm exhausted again. All right, so we'll see how he deals with it. But Hanjaro, in the meantime, he's going to get dealt with swiftly.
Wow.
With a swift kick to the face, and then that'll be Mabry Baby finding himself 4th kill.
And he was going out there trying to get that vision, but Jenna, one of the most susceptible supports to being caught out just because she's still squishy, she got absolutely exploded at the beginning of that fight. So Complexity, again, trying to control that vision, but they don't have as much of a foothold this game as they did in the last match, and it definitely shows with the score. Perfect game last game, not so perfect this game.
No, not so perfect indeed. It's already just so much better for Monster Kittens. Getting 3 dragons, finding themselves a minor advantage earlier on. It's still been teetering back and forth between teams, so they're doing what they can to keep up. Only a 1,000 gold discrepancy, so doing a good job. And Chump John, he's found himself a lot more farm this time around, and still 0-3, but he's got the Trinity Force. He'll be looking to make that random and Omen and try to tank up for the rest of this game.
And the things we were worried about in Champion Select for Monster Kittens, and the thing that I'm sure Monster Kitten was worried about in Champion Select, was how they're going to scale. And, whoa, this is really dangerous, but Malphite's teleporting in.
Oh, that damage from the Kittenz style, so much output there. But Westrice, no problem for him. Gets the Unstoppable Force and finds himself the counter kill. But that's huge for Chump John. Finding his first kill of the game and being it on Golden Glue is a pretty big feat for him.
Yeah, once he starts stacking that armor, he already has the Ninja Tabby and is going to go really heavy armor solely so he can deal with the split push from Golden Glue. And like you said, it looks like he's being able to deal with it. And now Monster Kitten's the one being the aggressors.
Oh, the Dissonance hit on Arc Second. The box comes out as well, but a Shockwave is going to pull 2 back on in with the Dissonance, but this turret is just free from the side of Monster Kittens. But down pot, Westrice just being annoying and pushing down.
Yeah, Malphite, maybe not the best of split pushers, but that's sort of what they resort to, especially when Complexity White is on the ropes. That's when they go to the split pushing the most, just to try and cause some chaos, utilize their strong mission control to make picks. He's going to have to hightail it out of there, though, because Chump John is a really formidable force right now. He's died 4 times this game, but even so, that huge power spike that Aurelia and most champions get once they build the Trinity Force, and especially Aurelia starting to get some defensive items, he can deal with just about any champion split pushing, including Golden Glue, but I'm excited to watch a duel that's going to happen between those guys if they're both full health and they meet up in one of these solo lanes.
And Golden Glue now has his Last Whisper too, so that's,
oh, wow. That's a big
huge
deal.
amount of armor penetration.
Yeah, Brutalizer plus Last Whisper, so he's going to be tearing through that. It's sort of an arms race. I'll build more armor pen, you build more armor. We'll see where we meet up with that one, but both teams sort of playing it a little more passive now, just still struggling to control vision across the river. Both teams are sort of afraid to get deep control just because they're afraid to sort of make the risky move into the jungle, because this game is so close, and I know these teams know it. And a lot of the times, these teams will play really conservatively and be afraid to make plays.
Sojin, he's got Hanjaro behind him for that shield, so he'll be able to escape on out. They know that Dragon is up. Golden Glue's going to keep on split pushing and run at the Chump John. So it'll be a 4 versus 4 here at this Dragon Pit, but with Orianna, it's going to make it nearly impossible. And look at that damage coming in. Hoofspark going to be able to condemn Mabry Baby back. So they have to retreat on out, and it looks like this is going to be the 4th Dragon of the game for Monster Kittens, unless Kaz has something to say about it.
Yeah, he's going to look for the steal, but oh, it looks like Arc Second's going to be able to zone him off this one. He's going to take his consolation prize of the pink ward, but not quite as much worth as the Dragon.
They had to be really careful getting out of that pit too. Had an Unstoppable Force hit, then that could have been all but over for them. Good damage coming in from Chump John, but now he's just going to commit in here. Golden Glue just doing so much with that death mark. It's not going to be enough to pop him. So they trade back and forth, and Golden Glue coming out just about the same health as Chump John.
Yeah, I think Golden Glue might have a little bit more sustain with the Blade of the Ruined King, but it's really tough to...
Oh! Wait, what was that? Golden Glue!
Oh my goodness.
What?
The Equilibrium Strike completely stopped him in his tracks, and it looks like...
Oh, they found the Destinies on a Hoofspark. They're going to bring him underneath that turret. He tries to find Hour and tumble away. He gets kicked back in. Mabry Baby's going to find that kill. Ignite comes in onto Kaz. He's forced to retreat, gets healed on out of there. And now Monster Kittens, they gotta be careful and get on out of there.
It's a 1-for-1 across the map, but an 0-for-1 in favor of Complexity White down in the bottom lane. So Chump John, though, coming up big. It looks like, I don't know, Golden Glue maybe with a little bit of a misplay there, flashed and missed the shadow, and an easy equilibrium strike from Chump John just completely obliterated him without any of that tenacity under the turret. He built the Merc Treads next, so he really doesn't want to be caught in that type of position again.
I mean, I understand where he was coming from, but that was a really risky play. He paid for it big time, but
yeah,
nothing away from Chump John. That was a great reaction for the equilibrium strike.
Yeah, these guys, I said the top lane was the lane to watch because both of these guys, well, West Rice I was talking about, but Complexity White in general, they love to split push, and Chump John is also the big split pusher of the Challenger Series and loves to put on the map pressure, so he is not a stranger to 1v1s, especially as Aurelia, but I think Golden Glue, he likes to play aggressive, but I think he's going to want to rethink his game plan when he's in the same lane as Chump John.
That was a little too aggressive. I mean,
a little bit too aggressive.
I mean, when you try to do that, that's really putting yourself out there. But I mean, Chump John's going to be feeling confident. He built this Frozen Heart now. You know how hard it's going to be for Kez and Golden Glue and even Mabry to get an auto attack off? That's 50% slow. It's crazy.
Yeah, Chump John takes 0 prisoners up in that top lane. And you said it, I don't think Golden Glue is really going to try to break through that Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart, you don't think of Zed as an auto attack champion as much, but so much of that Deathmark pop damage, that proc damage from the Deathmark comes from the auto attacks that you make when you use the ultimate. So it's going to be able to block a lot of damage, not only from the reduced attack speed, but also from the absurd amount of armor that it gives. So.
All right, so Chump John, he's just doing his thing down bot, keeps on pushing. He's going to keep West Rice busy with a pushed up wave. So they could look to try to force some kind of fight out here, but TP is up. Soja just spun it out, so he swiftly just uses that Scrying Orb that, who has that picked up? Oh, it's Gay. It's Spark, who has that one scouting out everybody. And they make their way down bot, so this is going to be the first possible 5v5.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this next 5v5 fight's going to go. It's all going to come down to the initiation. Complexity White has the Malphite, they have the Lee Sin, so their initiation is fantastic. But at the same time, Shockwave is one of the ultimate fight turners.
Yes.
Especially as Complexity White, you're tunneling, you're saying, okay, West Right's ult in. You're so focused on the initiation that you don't remember where that ball is and get caught in a Shockwave. Whoa!
Not going to commit the Deathmark, though. So he's able to just get out of there. They spot him out with their own Scrying Orb. I love the teams that are picking these up. It's such a good trinket that you don't really see too often. People have been picking up a little bit more lately, but when it gets to that late game point, you're like, oh no, someone disappeared. Let me just Scrying Lens over here.
Yeah, and especially in close games, I think is when the Scrying Orb comes into play the most, just because one catch or one positioning mistake for a team can result in a loss, especially as the game gets later and later. So they really want to make sure that when they make the Shockwave.
Oh, but a nice Shadow Juke comes in and they're going straight to the Hoof Spark. That's the big target they want, and Kez is on the killing spree. Death Sentence connected on a Sojin. They're going to look to go for more, but a great Monsoon from Hanjaro is going to disengage from that, and an even better Howling Gale on a 3. And now Chump John has joined the fight. He's looking for something.
West Rice is off to the side.
Yeah, West Rice is looking for it. He can not flash it. It is on cooldown, so no unstoppable force just from that. But with the Death Push Spark, that should be their push in here onto this tier 2. We'll see what they do, but a Howling Gale actually going to interrupt Kez from coming in any further. And that's going to be a free tier 2 turret over to the side of Complexity White. As now, they're with 2,000 gold ahead. The gold has just been staying so even between these teams this game.
Yeah, you can tell just by the objectives. They've been trading turrets pretty much back and forth. Complexity White does have that kill lead. A lot of that's from early on in the game with Golden Glue split pushing and them just being able to pick up kills left and right. But it's sort of started to stabilize. But what I really want to point out in that fight was that's a pretty big positioning error for Hoofspark. He was all the way on the other side of the wall from his teammates trying to come up through the Wraiths, by the Wraith camp, and that's just something that you can't afford, especially as Vayne, who...
That was the pink word that killed him. Take it out, Ark.
Yeah, he's trying to I'll avenge my brother, pink word. But he really needs to focus on being well positioned as Vayne, because she's one of the champions, one of the AD carries that matters the most. Your positioning matters the most, because Tumble can be considered an escape, but it's mostly a tool to just dodge skill shots. It's not really going to get you out of many sticky situations. And if Hoofspark dies, that's a lot of that late game damage potential that Monster Kittenz is going to lose on that they really cannot afford to do.
He's also going Phantom Dancer too, so he's going to skip out on the Shiv and just go straight for this raw attack speed and crit.
The old school AD carry build, the once upon a time every single AD carry in the world built. It was either Bloodthirster Phantom Dancer or Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer every game, game after game.
Yep, and you can see how much he's suffering too compared to Maybe Baby. Oh, this is a bush camp. Sojin gonna get that. Oh, it just melts. And they squished that bug no problem, and now they're gonna go for their first dragon of the game. So out of 5, they finally got 1.
Yeah, it seems like Monster Kittens might be losing a little bit of focus here because they're just sort of wandering into areas that they have no business being in, and Sojin really had to expect at least a couple people to be in that position. And Vision is a team effort. You can't be going in there and warding alone unless you know for a fact that it's going to be safe for you. And also, you were talking about the bottom lane there, Hoopspark and Maybe Baby. Look at that CS difference. That's crazy. 110 CS. That was almost double about a minute ago.
Crazy.
So you are exactly right in saying that Hoopspark is very far behind as far as itemization goes, and even as far as kills goes. Maybe Baby is rapidly approaching 3 items, and I think he's got a lot of gold in his pocket as well to make his way to 4 items. And Hoopspark just finished that Phantom Dancer.
Oh, that was a nice Howling Gale in 4. Very rare to see that. But once the Bloodthirster is done for Maybe Baby, that's gonna be huge. That shield is gonna be nice for blocking a lot of the damage. And just stay in a safe distance, and you're good to go. So we're going to see them go straight in. I love what Hanjaro did. He placed the pink ward and then left a sentry in the back. So they cleared the pink, and they're like, oh, it's clear. So now this is going to be a big fight. They teleported into that ward, coming in from Chump John. The box was popped out from Low Pally. They go straight on in. Hoofspark is dead. Golden Glue finds that kill, but Chump John on the side. Shockwave! It's going to hit on the 4. They're going to take down 3. Looking for more. The reset comes in from Sojin. They go to Low Pally, and now that's the 3rd Zed. West Rice is going to be soon to fall. Red buff to slow him down. They're going straight on into him. He's slowed. He's dead. He's gone. And that is going to be a Baron throw coming in from Complexity White with a beautiful ward from Hanjaro. Maybe looking for Kez as he safeguards away. Chump John not giving it up. Gets the Equilibrium Strike. The hit 10 style hits, and the ace comes in from Complexity White as now not Complexity White, from Monster Kittens, as they're going to get Baron.
What a shockwave by Arcsecond there to completely turn the fight around. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Teams that have the Malphites really need to make sure that they're focusing on themselves as well as the initiation from the fight. It was a wonderful initiation by West Rice. They killed Hoofspark almost instantly in that fight.
But then,
shockwave. A 4-man shockwave from Arcsecond chunked them all down, and Chump John was able to just roam around that fight, clean up. They get a clean ace, plus the Baron, a turret. Monster Kittens are now in the driver's seat for this game.
Oh, Legend's going to end up pulling in Maybe Baby, but Chump John, he is no easy kill right here. There's the culling, just tickling him.
Yes.
Look at him. Maybe Baby's trying, though.
What are those, mosquitoes?
He'll give it up. But yeah, that's crazy. That was a huge swing of momentum. I would be feeling so good right now if I was Monster Kittens after that fight and the Baron.
Well, the thing about it is, I can't say it enough. Hoofspark died instantly.
Yeah,
there was
that was a 4 versus 5.
Nothing that he can do. That fight was, yeah, a legitimate 4 versus 5. But you got to think, what they blew so much on him. Golden Glue used the Death Mark in onto Hoofspark. They used the Malphite ultimate pretty much only onto Hoofspark, and that just left Arcsecond and Chump John to be able to wreak havoc all over that fight. And Impactful did what he could, but it's just so hard without that front line anymore to really do much of anything, especially on Lucian. And now they have to really be scared, because if Hoofspark manages to live through one of those fights, then this is going to be disaster for Complexity White.
Especially once he has his last Whisper too. And with the Silver Bolt on top of it, he's going to be just destroying these people. And he already does do quite a bit of damage to West Rice because he built so much HP that those Silver Bolts are going to just melt through his health. But with this, there's the Yoma's Ghost Blade. Sojin forced to use that ultimate and stealth his way and leap his way out of there. So, not losing too much there. Low cooldown on that ultimate from Kha'Zix, so they just back on up. They're giving respect to each other, which is definitely what both teams need to do at this point. To not risk losing any further. But, oh no! That's that is connected to Sojin. He's caught out again without that ultimate though. Gets flayed back and now forced to flash. So using all of his escapes.
Yeah, he was actually really patient there though. He actually held on to his leap.
He had the command to protect too.
Yeah, so he knew that he was safe enough. He waited for the flay before he used the escape, because that's a big mistake that a lot of players, especially in Kha'Zix, will make, or even Jarvan. They'll get hooked in by Thresh and immediately try and escape or flash, and then it'll just get flayed right back in and don't even go anywhere from the escape. But great patience there. This is Complexity White though, scrambling. They're trying to go for the Fnatic brush there, trying to pick him off. But Monster Kittens are just now, you can tell just the confidence that they're exuding by the amount of pressure that they're putting on the map. This is the first time that we've seen them gain control of one of the sides of the jungle of Complexity White. So this is really looking up for them. The goal lead is not that big, but they have the Baron, and you can tell that they're actually starting to win these team fights.
Yeah, they're ahead now in gold finally after being down for about 15 minutes. So see them keep on pushing, but this could be a good flank from Golden Glue. He's coming out from the blue side of their jungle. If he can find it on the Hoofspark, then they could be looking at a 5 versus 3 because Chump John already rotated back into mid to keep that wave pushing to deal with Golden Glue split push.
Yeah, Chump John is really on Golden Glue duty right now, just trying to keep track of him as much as he can.
He's trying to be the rubber to his glue.
Exactly. And he's really just trying to communicate to his team, like, hey, Golden Glue, he's in the lane, and I can take him, but if he starts coming to you guys, you better get the heck out of there.
Yeah. I imagine that Chump John sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
All right, Yomu's was popped out from Golden Glue again. He's just scaring away Sojin. Oh, Hoofspark, no! He gets hit. There's a Condemn, but he gets kicked through the wall. He's forced to flash to the other side. Shockwave is going to keep Golden Glue away for a little bit. Sonic Wave comes in. They get the Deathmark on top of it, but there's the Zaydi's Hourglass. Hoofspark is going to get the shield and stay alive for a little bit. The Monsoon is keeping him alive! He's still alive. Arc second falls, though, in the end. And now they're chasing on the Hanjaro. Everything he did was for Hoofspark. Still trying to cut this one through. The Condemn comes in, but it was Safeguard. Kez actually gets through that Howling Gale. There's the culling over the side, and that's only going to be one person dead in what could have been a catastrophic loss for Monster Kittens.
Yeah, that was a really rough start to that engagement, but Hoofspark managed to live with a sliver of health. It was like Ignite Tick, and then Gen Ult Tick, Ignite Tick, and then he barely survived with just a little bit of a sliver of health.
That shield, too, just...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was just really close from what you said being extremely disastrous for Monster Kittens. Chump John now has his teleport available, so he's going to be able to maybe join a fight if that happens again. They do pick up the Dragon, so despite losing a member and despite an almost disastrous team fight, they still seem to want to be the ones that are in control. And Complexity, the big thing about this late game team fight, though, is I think they lack quite a bit of damage. Once Golden Glue is in there and exhausted, once that ultimate is down, they're really just not... don't have much ability besides the Lucian, besides Impactful, to be able to clean up those fights. And I like the itemization choice by Hanjaro here. He actually went for that early locket to make sure that his team would be able to get out of that Malphite ultimate in pretty decent shape.
Yep.
And that's a great choice. He didn't build the Mikhails, which is something that you think would be big, but they're okay with losing Hoofspark.
This is a big blue buff, and he'll jump over. He loses it. Oh, nice smite coming from Kez, but at what cost? Howling Gale, Zephyr is going to come through as well, slow him up. They use the Talisman of Ascension, but they're not going to go any further.
Yeah, especially for Arc second. In a siege scenario, that blue buff is a really big deal in Orianna because you want to be able to reposition your ball constantly to give that threat.
So yeah, he needs it.
Yeah, exactly. You talked about the build that he was going earlier. Rod of Ages is not a normal choice that Oriannas tend to go to because of the amount of mana sustain that they're sacrificing to be able to go for that little bit of extra health. But other than that, pretty standard, and he's actually doing an absurd amount of damage now that he has the completed Void Staff, the completed Rabadon's Death Cap, and of course the Zonias to be able to block out that Death Mark. Arc second is a really scary force.
Yes, he is. But an equally scary force is still Golden Glue, Hoofspark's worst enemy.
Yeah.
He's got a Quicksilver Sash now too, so he's not going to worry about Equilibrium Strike. He's not going to worry about getting slowed by Zephyr or condemned to the wall. So he's got what he can to get out.
I think Hoofspark's going to want to build his own Quicksilver Sash pretty soon here. Either that or Mikhails, which haven't come out. But I guess they're okay with Hoofspark dying. They realize, you know what, Hoofspark? We can really afford to just have you die at the beginning of the fight. So
we don't even need you, man. Just stay out of this.
Yeah, you can just be the bait. We'll let you die. I'm not going to build a Mikhails. And if you want a QSS, go for it. But you're on your own, buddy.
GA at this point may be a better option.
That could be an option as well, especially since the initial damage from Malphite
they want
as well.
this.
Oh, wow.
They popped the Talisman. They're just going to go straight into this right now. So just going to tank it up. They're doing a bunch of damage. The Culling's going to clear up that wave, though. And as the minions push on up, they're going to get that reduced armor. And Hanjaro, man, he's got to be very careful. If I was Golden Glue at this point, I'd probably just worry about killing Hanjaro because that's the only reason that Hoofspark has been able to stay up like this.
They really made a great move there. They saw Kez and Low Pally on their ward by the Baron Pit. And they made that split-second decision to say, let's make a super aggressive push, go for some damage on that turret, and now they're roaming around the map as 5, making moves and forcing Complexity's hand here. Complexity sorting has to scrap to get these wards in the Baron area because if they lose control of vision for even a couple moments, this Baron taking team from Monster Kittens, they can take it really quickly.
Very, very the Mercurial Scimitar was just finished by Golden Glue too, so he's going to get the extra movement speed on top of it. And the ward going to get cleared out finally, but I'm pretty sure it'll be replaced in an instant. There it goes. The Sightstone coming into a big effect, as they're just continuing to commit to the split push here from Complexity White. They're going to put the hammer down. They're like, you either go do Baron or you fight us right now and stop this push. As Golden Glue just goes in. They're coming from behind. Spark with Chump John leading the way. Can they do it? There's going to be the turret getting destroyed. Barbie baby, what are you going to do to get out of here? Here's Chump John coming in with the Equilibrium Strike. Going to stun him up, hit 10 style. Blade of the Rune King, so much damage. Look at him just dashing on in. Doing so much to kill him, and they got Hanjaro. Maybe baby going to find that kill. Spark is going to end up dying to the Deathmark. Yes, he does. And Death Sentence comes in. They're going to find Arc second, and no, and everything just erupts. Chump John's still alive, though, with the double kill. It's a 2 for 2. They're chasing this one out. Golden Glue going to get flashed on. There's Chump John with Sojin. Gonna find the kill. The kick is not going to stop him, though, as there's the Dark Passage from Lowpally to keep him alive, and in a 3 for 2, losing 3 main players from Complexity White. Monster Kittenz come out ahead.
Yeah, Monster Kittenz is really in a great position now. Complexity White just doesn't have the damage to be able to take these team fights on. Chump John went for Blade of the Ruin King as an item in this game. He built it a little bit late, but it's a great choice because he's not being focused at all. There's nothing Complexity White can do to be able to deal with Chump John at this point in the game, so he's able to clean up the fights. But yeah,
both
I don't know if I agree with this choice. This is going to be a legitimate 50-50 for this Baron fight. Which jungler has the better smite? And I don't think Monster Kittenz should be the one to be able to initiate this.
They should hold on to it. They should hold on to it. We can't see it right now. He's got the Sonic Wave, and he doesn't get the steal. It's going to be Sojin finding that smite and taking the Baron. That's the second one of the game, and I believe Hanjaro spawned in time to get the buff.
That's going to be a pretty big deal for them, but what a risky play by Monster Kittenz.
When you're sweating.
When you're ahead like this in a game, putting it up to a 50-50 for a Baron smite is not something that I think I would take the risk of, but Monster Kittenz has showed us that they are a risky team, picking Vayne into these type of champions. Spark has, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but he literally hasn't done anything in these team fights.
He's got 4 assists. He's done some stuff when he gets like a condemn off randomly, but
he condemns and then he dies instantly.
Yeah.
And his team's patting him on the back. Great job, Spark. You did your job.
You're just a bait. That's all you are. You're just a giant bait. We're gonna hook, line, and sinker these guys with you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Baron either, so he's just even more naked at this point. They just go in with Deathmark or anything like that. I don't even need to think they need Deathmark at this point to kill him. He's got QSS, so he can cleanse it off. And I actually like what Arc Second is building here. He's going for the Lich Bait as his final item for that 6-slot build.
Wow, that is... there's a lot of times where Oriannas actually don't even make it to the 6th item here. Usually we see the 4 items, so that 6th item has a lot of versatility, but I really like the Lich Bait. That's sort of a more aggressive approach, and it sort of fits in with the Orianna because you really want to weave in those auto attacks when you're in a fight anyway, just because of the extra damage that you can do, especially with lots of AP this late in the game. So having that little bit of extra burst is going to really be valuable for them in these little skirmishes or the team fights that we're going to see later in the game. Now, Spark has built that Quicksilver stash now, so he's going to be a little bit better positioned. And it's actually a win-win for them, because if he gets focused, they know they can win fights still. If he doesn't get focused, then he's Vayne, late game.
I'm going to Silver Bolt you down no matter what. It doesn't matter. But we're going to see if they can make this push in. This is a very big push for them with the Baron buff still on them. It's over half at this point completed, or duration, half duration is completed. So we're going to see them keep on pushing through. They have a big wave down bot, but up top it's not pushing, as Westrise has been doing a good job of keeping these waves pushed out with Golden Glue. And this is looking pretty, not desperate, but they really want to try to push their advantage in.
Yeah, they don't have the best siege-type compositions because, of course, they have Vayne as an AD carry who doesn't want to get too close because of the threat of the Malphite ultimate. So they're really just trying to get pot shots on this turret, and it's just not working out for them. The turret's not really falling.
That was so close to Arc Second. They should just, they're rotating down. They're going to go straight for that tier 3, as they did do quite a bit of damage to it earlier on. The calling, though, will clear out quite a bit, and Descendant's going to get tumbled away. It's who's going to bite the bullet first is the real question, because Westrise can go with the Ensemble Force, or we could have Arc Second look for that Shockwave. But all flashes are currently available besides Westrice's. And, it's getting tense. This is something that you do not want to throw. This is something that would haunt you.
Yeah, once the fight breaks out, it's going to be explosive, but I think both these teams are going to be pretty conservative in how they approach this and waiting for the perfect opportunity one reason why ArcSecond might be building the Lich Bane as well is to get a little bit of extra turret damage, because right now, it's really just Chump John, and there goes the turret.
Shockwave goes down to 2 as well. Westrice is going to be targeted down with Kez, but Unstoppable Force comes through. Hanjaro's going to split up the fight, keep Chump John alive. Look at that Howling Gale, knocking up 3. They do end up getting Chump John out. He flashes, just barely staying alive with a sliver of health. ArcSecond is going to get targeted out. Exhaust goes in onto Mabry, baby. He is forced to just relentless pursuit out of there, and they do get the inhibitor. Nobody dies besides Westrice, and that's going to be the 1 for none, and a big push to come in from Monster. Gets the flash forward. Yomo's Ghostblade comes in. ArcSecond with a good Zynia's Hourglass, but can he stay alive? There's the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike, but he gets interrupted by the Howling Gale. They're going to use the Disruption as well to speed themselves out of there and slow down the chase from Complexity White. And Kez, he's trying to not give it up, but does have to in the end, and they're going to grab a Constellation Dragon.
Yeah, might as well, running by it, but that was a great fight from Monster Kittens, and Chump John just really said, you know what, screw it, I'm going in, I'm going to get this turret. He drew so much damage to himself as well that he really let ArcSecond be able to be in the back and help his team take that inhibitor. The Death Mark was used on Chump John as well, and he didn't even fall in that fight, so that's just a great engagement by Monster Kittens. They're able to break open the shell, which is going to be a huge, huge deal for this team comp that they have going for them. It's going to allow them a little more wiggle room with how they're able to see.
He's got to be so happy. There's got to be a big grin on his face when he's mashing Q like that.
And Spark's probably like, but I want some CS too.
He's still 200 CS down.
Yeah.
From Maybe Baby.
That's ridiculous. That's almost double the CS of a Vayne. It's not something that you usually see, and it just goes to show you how, I guess, disposable Monster Kittens thinks Spark is in this game. I feel a little bad for him.
He's literally a body. He's got to be a target at this point, but, I mean, Complexity and White have to figure this out. It's got to be going through their heads that, Vayne, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's Chump John and it's ArcSecond that we need to target down because they're causing the most havoc in these fights and just completely destroying us from everything.
Yeah. Chump John actually went for the Wit's End as his 6th item, which is, I mean, again, a lot of times we don't see 6 items, but I like that choice to be more of a threat in these fights. Here we go.
There's a Shockwave Kez as well. They're going to be able to blow him up. There's the Howling Gale on top of it. Low Pally doing what he can with the box. They're doing all they can to take down Mabry Baby. Jumping in. Soldier's going to be able to find the kill and take him out. Spark staying alive miraculously as he's got red buff. He's going to chase down to the Westrice, and this could be game as Low Pally is going to fall in the back. That's a 4 for none. Monster Kittens, they've done it. They found the hole in the gap and just cinched it.
Wow, that was an impressive fight, especially since they used so much onto Kez. They actually used the Shockwave, and that really just goes to show you how much work Chump John's doing in this one. They're blowing so much damage on him that they just don't have enough damage to do much anything else in these fights. And, I mean, they get good initiations off. You got to hand it to Westrice. He had some good unstoppable forces, but Monster Kittens just making this one work and taking the game home, and really impressive victory for them and bringing it to a Game 3. And that's just a huge confidence boost for them as well, I think, because they, after being almost perfect gamed by Complexity White in the first matchup, they come back and make it through, slug it out, and have a great victory under their belts.
All right, so with that, we're going to be heading into Game 3 really soon. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, the hype is going to resume here at the League of Legends Championship Series Expansion Tournament Qualifier for those last 2 spots. Stay tuned. And welcome back here to Game 3 of the LCS Expansion Tournament. I'm Egad, and joining me here is Asmo Cutie, or TJ Sanders, whatever you want to call him. But what a Game 2.
What a Game 2 indeed. Monster Kittens versus Complexity White. Complexity White took the first one in almost a perfect game. 0 kills for Monster Kittens in the first game. 0 turrets taken for Monster Kittens in the first game. But they brought it back. They brought it back.
A cheeky early dragon coming out from them as well. So we'll see if they have anything like that in store. Maybe some secret strategies finally getting revealed. But that Janna Vayne combination, Vayne, Spark, I'm sorry, but you were nothing until the end game. But Hanjaro, MVP that game.
Yeah.
Keeping alive Chump John, keeping Spark out of danger most of the time with Monsoon. Those shields were absolutely on point. Chump John in the end game as well came up big on that Aurelia, one of his more played champs.
Yeah.
So we're going to have that game up for you guys. The Game 3, excuse me, up for you guys relatively soon. Pick bands? Okay, actually we have it right now.
Alrighty, so we're jumping right into the action. This is game number 3 between Complexity White and Monster Kittens. And the winner of this match actually goes on to play Curse Academy next weekend. So they got a tough road ahead of them, even if they manage to to win this one. So we'll have to see. I can imagine there's going to be some highly contested picks after the last one, but it looks like the bans are pretty similar to what we've seen.
Yep. So Xerath Draven, keeping Arc second away from that Xerath, keeping Hostbark away from his Draven. And then we're going to probably see the regular Rengar Gnar, or I bet you Gnar is going to be after Syndra, so they don't let Westeros have that, destroy them that first game.
Yeah.
And then Aurelia from Chump John. That's the respect bans coming out from 3 major players.
Which is really interesting because I've seen Complexity White first pick Aurelia a lot in some of their scrims and their ranked 5s matches. They first pick top lane a lot, and Aurelia seems to be the one that they go with if Gnar isn't available or if something else isn't on the table. So that's just really respecting Chump John's Aurelia. They don't even want to leave that on the table.
I mean, who would have guessed? I mean, obviously you could check his solo queue history and stuff like that. He plays a lot of Aurelia, but to bring it out on the main stage in a tournament where you're like, all right, this is do or die time. I'm going all in, and it worked out. It was phenomenal. It was just a front line that they needed.
Yeah.
And the picks that are opened up, Westeros, what are they going to go for? Could they snag the Orianna away from Arc second because he finally came through with those shockwaves?
Yeah.
Am I rubbing the crystal ball correctly here? Are we good? We'll see. But Orianna could be a pretty safe pick for Golden Clue.
Well, we just saw how comfortable Arc second was on the Orianna.
Shockwaves.
Especially compared to the last game where he was playing Jace. He was playing very tentatively. He was playing conservatively.
It doesn't fit his style.
Doesn't fit his style. The control mage, though, definitely fits in with his style. And that's really smart by Complexity to take that away if they decide to lock this in as first pick, and they do.
All right, so gonna see what he can do with that, but Sojin gonna go right back to the causes. We didn't even highlight him. He was doing a great job of roaming around, keeping the buffs out. He counter-ganked phenomenally as well.
Yep.
He became a big front line they needed, and there's Hanjaro's Janna. That is something I would have banned away, but there's just so many other things to take out. Like, there's no room for it to be banned.
If you thought that Arc Second's Orianna was great, his Xerath is even better.
Yes.
And Draven is something that you never put in the hands of Hoofspark. No matter how comfortable you feel playing against a Draven, you just don't give it to him because he's one of the most experienced.
You can put him down 0-10. He's got like 150 stacks. Bam, just cashes in.
Just cashes in and then completely carries the game. Pentakill with just 1x.
just Draven, the whirling death. But Jarvan going to come out from Kez here, so a little bit more aggressive style possibly to come through with that flag and drag.
Yep.
And then Rumble up top for Westeros. So this is something that he's played quite a bit. He'll be looking to go more that tanky Rylai's route and just try to be a huge nuisance up top.
This is a combination that I was expecting to see a lot more of coming to the Challenger scene, and look for this composition as we move forward in this tournament.
So you Cataclysm,
these 3 champions.
Shockwave, and then Equalizer.
Exactly, and especially the J4 and the Rumble pick, just locking teams into the Equalizer. This mid-game composition from Complexity White is really potent, and Monster Kittens is going to have to react to it, and this seems to be Monster Kittens. They seem to have a little bit of a weak point in the mid-game. They struggled a little bit in the first game, and they got closed out on in the mid-game. In the second game, they held themselves in the mid-game. That's all they managed to do. They won in the late game. And so this looks like Complexity White calling an audible and saying, hey, we need to go super aggressive in the mid lane, make plays happen, and really be the aggressors in this matchup because I'm sure Complexity White thinks they're the favorites.
Indeed. So we're going to see the potential Corki again for Hostbark, which we are. So he had a tough time first game with it, and if he goes up against Marby's Lucian again, Marbaby, excuse me, is Lucian again, and then we're going to have Chump John with the Maokai up top. So looking to try to counter out the tree-burning Rumble Mechanizer, I don't know what you want to call him, but we'll see if he can stop the flames. And there's going to be a Nami Lucian. I love this combination. You put the Tide Caller's Blessing on top of the Gunslinger passive, or the Lightslinger passive, excuse me, and you just do a bunch of magic damage on top of it.
Yeah, so the Anivia pick, now this is...
That fits him perfectly.
It fits him perfectly. The Ahri maybe fit him a little bit better. I think Arc second is like Ahri is like his 3rd most played champion in solo queue, and even in rank 5s he's been playing some Ahri as well. Anivia does fit his playstyle, actually. We talked about that control mage.
You can't push in.
Yeah, Anivia is literally the epitome of control mid laners, and looks like they're going to probably go with the Ahri here. I think that makes some sense.
I like it. You get the charm, you've got the illusionary orb as well to go through everything, and just it does the true damage, I believe. Coming back. Oh, wait,
switching it up at the last second.
Oh, so he's gonna go for the opposite matchup that he had last game and try to test his skills against the Orianna of Golden. That's interesting. I'm not sure, or maybe it could be mid Maokai.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind. Don't toy with me.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here, but that's a really bold move by Arc second to say, hey, I know I beat you with Orianna last game, but now this time I'm going to take your champion, and I'm going to beat you with it again.
Okay.
So,
I mean, the the matchup is hard too because you can't commit because she's got command protect. If she puts a little bit of an extra level into it or not, and then you're just like, oh, the burst was just too much, and I can't do anything now. I commit to a dive and I'm dead.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We're gonna be getting into the rest very soon, and we're gonna also look for your guys' responses to what you think about this set. It's game 3. Who do you think is gonna win? Tweet at us at LOL Esports #LCX expansion. We're gonna look through those, and we want to hear your responses. As after that last game, Monster Kittenz are showing that they have a fight in them.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really expected. Monstar is a really unknown team. A lot of these players, nobody's really even ever heard of. They are at the top of the challenger ladder. I know Hanjaro has a popular YouTube channel that he uploads his clips on.
He does a lot of support things.
Yeah, but as far as being known compared to the guys on Complexity White,
he's down there.
It's not really a comparison. And being able to take a game off that, especially the second game, riding that momentum into the third game is going to be a pretty big deal.
And they has Janet Corky this time. So
Janet Corky.
We're going to see the extra boost in damage the phosphorus bomb will get from the shield coming in. And it's going to be interesting. He had a phenomenal game. The Howling Gales were on point. Monsoon was just great. And we'll see if he can do it this time. And putting himself up against a Nami is going to be interesting as well because the ebb and flow is so annoying to deal with. You get harassed out, and you can heal either your AD carrying yourself, or you could to do a little bit of extra damage as you bounce it from yourself to, you bounce it from them to yourself.
Yeah. So the big thing to watch here, though, is Hoofspark. I don't think this game he can really get away with sort of being disposable like he was in the last game.
I hope not. I want to see a little bit more worth out of him.
Yeah, he has to make more of an effort to try and get himself ahead and keep himself in the game on Corky because he doesn't have that buffer of being just a naturally strong late game AD carry.
All right, so we're here with the final match, or the final game between these players here in Complexity White versus Monstar Kittenz, and we'll see how it goes as they switch up the plays. And it's going to be Kez on the Jarvan jungle, and Sojin going back to the Kha'Zix. So I want to see Kez be a little bit more active this time. I mean, if he goes for a Sightstone on Jarvan, that'd be rather interesting.
Yeah, I have seen him do it, and I wouldn't put it past him. It's not a jungle champion that you say, oh, well, that Sightstone makes sense on him. But at the same time, that's just Kez's style. He loves to control vision early on. We've seen it in both games so far. Didn't even go for a spear dart and went machete straight into Sightstone. Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did it, but at the same time, Jarvan, not quite the best champion to be able to do that with.
And first blood is joined by Kez, dropping the flag, putting that Demacian diplomacy into the Kha'Zix. So no invades, nothing crazy. We did actually have Marby Baby throwing out a ward, so they're going to be able to see if they go for a blue start here. But it doesn't look like Sojin is going to as he starts red, and he'll look to... Oh, actually, no, they're not going to mirror it out. So Kez will be starting his red as well, or maybe even looking for an invade. But there's really a lot of good wards on the map right now from both sides.
Yeah, definitely making use of those trinket wards early game. You can see everybody has placed theirs except for Low Pally, and I can imagine he's just going to go ahead and place that one late, either at that banana bush or on the red, just to make sure that there's not any late invades happening. To make sure that Kez's jungle is secure going into the first and second buffs.
All right, so the buffs are going to be spawning in about 10 seconds, and we'll see the junglers go on their merry ways, and it will be the mirrored blue-red from both. So,
well, this lane up top now, Rumble is definitely not considered one of the stronger laners, but neither is Maokai. Maokai is not really a champion that you have too much kill potential in lane. There's chances that you can bully someone out in lane, and Rumble is probably the champion that you're going to be able to do it to, if there is one. But I'm really excited to see how they're going to deal with each other, because a Rumble that gets ahead in lane and a Rumble that has a good early game is just going to be so potent going into mid-game team fights.
The thing, though, about Maokai is you can't spam Flame Spitter, or he's just going to get the auto attack and heal. And
yeah,
it's exactly.
Gonna be fine. Exactly. And Rumble is one of those champions that spams abilities because his resources is not finite, so he's just able to use spell after spell after spell, which means Chump John is going to be heal after heal after heal.
All right, so we're in the bot lane as well. We're seeing the effect of the ebb and flow. Maybe Baby just doing his thing again, showing that his Lucian versus Corky is pretty dominant, and they can't really do too much to it until the later levels when the Phosphorus Bomb is finally clearing up the wave, and he's got the rockets to clear it up as well. But it's still a rough matchup, man. Lucian is just so dominant in the lanes. We saw him take down Vayne, take down Corky, and now looking to take out Corky again. He hasn't really lost his lane this whole set.
Yeah. People make a big deal out of how strong of a lane Thresh Lucian is, but I think that Lucian Nami is one of the hardest lanes to deal with, because Nami is always going to be in your face. She gets those auto attacks on you, and that harass is just ridiculous. And if she lands a bubble, oh man, that's just game over for you down that bot lane. And of course, the one thing that Nami has that Thresh doesn't is the ability to sustain, which is a big deal in those types of lanes.
I love what Kez is doing. He's moving on up. He's going to hide in those brushes up top there, but Hoofspark taking a bunch of damage. Got to be a little careful. They do have the Gale, and heal is actually being run in the spot lane this time. Hoofspark did pick it up instead of the double exhaust they were running last game. And this is pretty dangerous for Chumpjon. He's got to be careful. Gets hit by those harpoons, and the Flame Spitter is going to force him out, but a bit too tanky as he kind of just shrugs it off. He has no problem dealing with it.
Yeah, Chumpjon, Maokai is not a champion that really fits his playstyle much. He's not the best team fight sort of top laner. He really loves that split push map pressure style. And so I won't be surprised if Westrites gets a little bit of the better of him in this lane. I mean, Chumpjon was mostly known for playing Jax in the Challenger series a few months ago, so completely different types of champions.
Shadow gets thrown out. He goes forward with it. Dissonance comes through to give him the movement speed. He'll get slowed out by those Void Spikes. Shuriken connects, and not too much there. Golden Glue, he's probably been in that scenario about 100 times. He's like, I'm just going to walk out.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Kez snuck his way all the way up top with Chumpjon. He's not biting the bait. He'll go back.
Kez has spent a lot of time.
He sucked a lot of XP too.
Yeah, that's true. So he's really just saying, hey, Westrice, can I get some of this XP?
just a little bit of XP, please, just some more. But he'll just keep pressuring this, and then if they dive, this is really risky. They're gonna go in. He heals up a little bit, and there's the twisted advance, and he might pick up Westrice. No, he gets out of range in time. He'll save his flash, and he won't even try to TP out. So that'll be first blood going over to Complexity White with some nice juggling of that turret aggro.
That's actually a really big deal. I think it's a bigger deal than what it may just appear being a first blood, because I mentioned that Rumble is such a momentum-based top laner, and he has such a strong mid-game, especially with the Equalizer.
Baby going in, flashing and exhaust. Lopelli ends up soaking that one up. Hoofspark is just going to go through. He's healing up with the potions on Jaro's leading the charge, though. Gives himself the shield. Auto attacks coming in. They force out the heal in response. Hoofspark is there, flashing forward. Missing the Faustus bomb with a good juke from Maybe Baby, but Lopelli, he's got the Tycaller's Blessing, he's got the auto attacks, and he can't get it. No, and that'll be, once again, these bot lanes are so evenly matched.
Evenly matched in these skirmishes, but look at that CS difference. That's more than double. That is going to be triple the CS of Hoofspark once this lane is done. So even though that trade seemed to be even, at the end of the day, that is not even anywhere close to even. And you can tell that Impactful and Lopelli really are not afraid to pile on the aggression, because they know, hey, even if we give up a kill, being 30 CS ahead is going to give us a lot of breathing room.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even notice that, but he's been zoned out so hard. That's the power of Nami as well. Nami against Jenna. Jenna can try to harass her, but then Ebb and Flow comes into effect, and then she's like, all right, I got Tycaller's Blessing, now some extra magic damage and slow, and you're just like, I can't deal with this, and you're forced back like we saw Hoofspark. So, good control there by Lopelli. He's been around for a long time. That's the experience showing pretty brightly there.
Yeah, and you can see the gold difference right now. This is starting to look a lot more like game one, where Complexity was just winning out in the lanes. There's a 1.3k gold lead, and there was a kill, but other than that, it's only CS and only bot lane CS that's being the big difference in this gold right now.
Good presence in mind by Arc to not just be completely baited by that. In solo queue, I'm pretty sure someone would be like, I'm just going to death mark him and go in.
Yeah.
But Lopelli gonna get caught out by the Zephyr there. They do miss the Void Spike, so the slow is gonna be held off for just a bit. They flash forward, they get the isolation, and the slow damage to come through, but a double bubble gonna stop him, and Sojin misses the spikes again. But here comes Arc second. He's gonna drop the Ignite. There's a shockwave to stop him for a little bit. The Death Mark is gonna pop, and Maybe Baby in the back does find a kill to Hanjaro. The TP came in from Westrice, and Hoofspark is dead, and that is gonna be a 3 for 2 in the favor of Complexity White.
Yeah, and it looks like they are healthy enough to be able to do this dragon. They are picking it out. And this is where that first blood up in the top lane comes into play even more so, because Chumpjon actually had to use his teleport to get back to top lane to make sure that he didn't fall too far behind, and he didn't have his teleport in that fight, whereas Westrice did. So not only is Westrice 2 kills ahead now, he's not that far behind on CS, he's contributed to his team's success, and they've picked up a dragon as well. So this is a great position for Complexity White to be in going into the mid game. Being ahead this much with such a strong mid-game teamfight comp is going to make it really easy for them to close out the game if they make good decisions.
Indeed. So we noticed that Chumpjon, he's taking a minor CS advantage, like I said, and then there's the 2 kills for Westrice, but he went straight blasting one. So giving up on going Catalyst first and just going straight for the nuke damage that he can use. And they're switching lanes. I think Golden Glue might stay up there first.
Yeah, this is something that I mentioned a little in the first game, but when Golden Glue feels like he's against a wall, when Golden Glue feels like he's in not the best matchup for him, he'll just leave. He'll go to the top lane, he'll split push to his heart's content. One of the only players in all of the professional scene to be a split pusher on Orianna, and it's not something that, oh, he does once in a while. Almost every game he plays Orianna, he finds some time in the game to split push.
Farming the jungle, split pushing out every lane, he's just everywhere. So
we saw the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith being built earlier today, which is
not this game.
The ultimate jungle taxing item for a mid laner, especially on Orianna.
It works out pretty well. I gotta say, I wouldn't be surprised if he built it either way, but going for the Athenians kind of means that he... And Sojin, he's hit that level 6 point, he's gonna evolve the wings and look to get some extra leaps in. And we'll see if he can put it to effect now. He's got that 6, he can stealth on in, get the isolation damage. He's also actually a little bit behind Kaz at this point, who's finished up his Spirit of the El Lizard with the help of the kill and the 3 assists there. So.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Monster Kittenz really has to make some big moves here, but they also have to be really careful because of how strong the mid game is for Complexity White. We say it, but that combination of champions that they have going on right now is almost the ideal, like, second dragon fight composition. Level 11, these guys will destroy you in a straight up 5v5. So you have to really be careful, but at the same time, they can't just bleed out. They can't just sit here and let their bot lane get further behind and just let their lanes just sort of suffer and fall further behind. They've got a 3K deficit, and we're just 10 minutes into this game.
Oh, this is time the gank is going to get spotted out. They can try to counter it now. Oh, this is not going to be too good. Jumping on in, though. Maybe Baby is going to be able to dodge away, no problem. There's the Cataclysm on top of it with the Tidal Wave. It's going to knock up 3 as the culling comes through. Not doing too much damage. They're trying to focus on Sojin. They refresh the double boost on Kaz. He flashes forward, forcing out both of those flashes, and now looking for Hanjaro with a good Howling Gale. He's able to get out of there, but Sojin losing that double buff. Giving over to Kez, refreshing it, and now this tier 2, it is gone. Flash bubble comes in, Hanjaro's gonna end up getting knocked up, but they do end up losing Hoofspark, and now with the dot of the red buff, that's a double kill for Kez, and no problem for them as they now secure a tier 1 and 3 huge kills with the help of that back ward there.
Yeah, so that was just a great bait right off the bat by Packful, by Mabry Baby down in the bot lane. They knew exactly what was happening there. They knew that that gank was coming. He wasn't afraid because they're so far behind that their damage is really tiny right now, and that sort of just seems like what Hoofspark's been suffering from in all 3 of these games, actually, is just getting so far behind in the laning phase. But it really seems like Monster Kittenz has lost that edge. They've lost that confidence now. They're playing super conservatively. Sojin's trying to make things happen, but it just feels like it's too little to be able to come back right now.
Yeah, they're down that 4.7k gold, so they're trying to do what they can to recover. Kaz has mobility boots too and a ruby crystal, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got the sight stone soon. They're looking for a dive up top, but this is going to be countered again. Sojin, this is a nightmare for him. They're going to leap on into Westeros here, do as much damage as they can. They do get the knock-up in from the flag and drag, but Kez, so strong. Elder Lizard doing so much work, burning down that tree, and there's the Dragon Strike for the kill. Meanwhile, in mid, Golden Glue going to get initiated on here. Arc second, not even having to use the Death Mark, as he was on cooldown, so able to take him down to the flat-up 1v1, even with Low Pally trying to zoom his way in there with the ebb and flow. Now, Sojin going to fly his way out of there.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there with Golden Glue. He sort of willingly put himself into turret range, and Arc second didn't even have to use the Death Mark in that situation. It was actually on cooldown. So just the Ignite and some auto attacks onto Golden Glue were enough to kill him. So it seems like Golden Glue is being a little bit impatient. He's being a little bit frustrated.
Maybe that last game kind of, threw him off a bit.
Threw him off a little bit because he had such a great start, but then just couldn't make things happen with the double exhaust. This game though, only 1 exhaust, and he's playing Orianna, so it doesn't really affect him too much.
No, it doesn't. So 103 CS to 47 from Hoofspark.
Wow.
Mabry Baby, there's nothing he can do to this. This Hoofspark, nothing he can do to him. Gets the shield, but just instantly, there's the piercing light, just it's gone. He loses any kind of ability to stay alive in that lane. But Bubble comes through, it stops Sojin mid-jump, double TPs are coming out. This is going to be a 4 versus 4. Tidal Wave going to knock up 2. Hanjaro's going to be the force of that Cataclysm, as now he's stuck in there, he can't get out. They knew he had no flash. Low Pally able to secure that kill on the Nami. So now, coming in from Golden Glue, he was trying to make it a 5 versus 4. But they're content with the 1 for none and looking to make it 1 turret as well as they keep pushing. But Arc second, fulfilling that Zed role and just keeping his presence known in mid.
Yeah, making sure that he keeps split pushing. That's going to be...
Oh, the Death Mark comes in. There's a flash. Oh, he uses the shadow and the flash to get out of that shockwave. and he's able to stay alive. Meanwhile, Sojin down bot falls to the equalizer, and Mabry Babies auto attacks.
Yeah, that was really great patience by Westrice. As soon as he teleported in that bot lane, he held onto his equalizer because he realized that it wasn't going to have a high impact on that fight. Held onto it. Maybe he would wait for the dragon fight and maybe to get a couple straggle kills, and that's exactly what he did. Picked up Sojin on the backside of that fight, and Complexity White is just stomping all over this map right now, doing pretty much whatever they want. This is exactly like Game 1, and I actually think this is even worse than Game 1 because Complexity is actually getting kills as well. It's not a perfect game, but they even have more of a lead at 14 minutes than they did in that Game 1.
And Kez is 5-0, so absolutely crazy.
Wow, yeah, on Jarvan. So that's not something that Kid usually does, so he's going to be able to get tanky as well as being that vision control sort of supporter style jungler. And of course, we've talked about it 1,000 times already this game. They're going to be able to close this game out just because of how potent that combination is for those mid-game team fights. And even Lucian he's not the best sieging AD carry, but getting those pot shots on the turret is a lot easier with that double shot.
Yep, so now up top, ChumpJohn, he's been left alone for quite a while. He's found quite a decent amount of farm and his Rod of Ages. Westrice, I'm surprised he's not going commit. Oh yes, he is. He's got Kez coming. So ChumpJohn decides, I'm just going to go all in and try to fight you out. As he keeps throwing the sapling, he's doing quite a bit of damage, but those harpoons, Flag and Dread comes in, doesn't knock him up. He's trying to do what he can to stay alive. Gonna pop this ultimate, but Westrice just so tanky. Scrap shield, overheating, and just doing complete work to that Maokai there with the help of Kez.
Complexity is not giving Monster Kittenz an inch.
Blue side advantage
right now. Yeah.
Sojin gonna get initiated on a cat, kills him as well. He's able to stealth up and just jump away. So staying alive just barely. That Elder Lizard was not enough to kill him.
Yeah, Kez did have the flash available, but holding on to that one.
Wait a minute.
Whoa-oh.
Wait a minute, Kez. Throws the flag. All right, forcing him to back.
Got him.
Oh, Flash and Dragon Strike for the kill. He's dominating 6-0-5.
Very smooth moves there by Kez. Knew exactly what he was doing with that little maneuver. And Complexity White just continues to get further and further ahead. This is almost a 10,000 gold lead.
At 15 minutes?
At 15 minutes. They actually, if they really wanted to, could have the potential to close this one out in a sub 20-minute game.
Kez is getting a little greedy here, but there's a tidal wave to come in. The Shadow Mark was not used then. They're just going to sacrifice Henjaro, so he'll end up falling, unfortunately, but keeping Arc Second alive is a much bigger objective.
Yeah, when Kez, the jungler, is able to solo out your Zed, who's supposed to be able to solo most people at level 11 in this game right now, you know your team's in a really terrible position in this game. Impactful has such aggressive positioning. He's not afraid of anything because Hoofspark hasn't even completed the third piece of his Trinity Force yet. He's so far behind.
Again, it's nothing, but Deathmark comes in from Golden Glue. He's going to chase, from Arc Second. He's going to chase him out and just go right back on out to that Deathmark spotted Shadow. Going on in here, Henjaro takes a bunch of damage from Mabry Baby. Jeez, the red buff is doing so much work for him.
Yeah, you can really tell that this bot lane of Monster Kittenz just seems a little bit outmatched. Henjaro is doing what he can to make it work in teamfights. In last game, I think he was one of the shining stars in Monster Kittenz' victory, but Hoofspark has just fell so far behind in all 3 games, and it just makes you question. He focuses so much on Draven and solo queue and in their rank 5s matches that maybe he should have used it as a bait or something.
Sojin gonna come in from back here, but there's Kez just on his tail all the time. Pink Ward even committed. There's a nice Monsoon, but Cataclysm right afterwards is gonna lock up Hoofspark. Henjaro falls. It looks like soon to follow up is gonna be Hoofspark. Ignite comes in, and Low Pally will find that kill as he's actually running Ignite on the support. I thought he was taking Exhaust. I didn't even realize that, but aggressive playstyle comes in and works out pretty well.
Yeah, and Westrice is just bullying around ChumpJohn up here in the top lane as well. He does have his teleport available, but it's not very often.
Inhibitor at 17.5 minutes? Why not?
Yeah, that is just so hard to come back from when you're that far behind. You can't even leave your base, really. When a team is this far ahead, they've taken your inhibitor, they have control over your jungle areas, and even matches that you're supposed to be doing at least well in, at least okay in, you're losing. It's just, Monster Kittenz just has their back against the wall at this point. I have no idea what they're going to have to do to come back in this match.
It kind of just feels like a solo queue game, mid lanes 2-0. He's like, come on, guys, why are you feeding? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I can carry this game. Gosh, but
4 times report AD carry.
Report Hoofspark, please. No. But like you said, I have no idea how they can come back. 13,000 gold behind, haven't got a dragon, they've got one turret up top, which Trumpchan was able to get with some alone time, but he's still so far behind. He's 0-3. He's trying to get towards the Spirit Visage, I'm assuming, with that Megatron cloak, but it's not looking too good.
Yep. And I'm trying to think what Monster Kittens can do to come back in this match. We talked about in the first game, when you're that far behind in a game, in a best of 3, you kind of just got to chalk it up and say, hey, what can we do better in the next game? But there is no next game for Monster Kittens. If they lose this one, they are out of the expansion tournament and have no chance to compete in the 2015 Spring LCS, and Complexity White would move on. So they really need to try and make something happen. A last-ditch effort, a desperate play.
Yep.
There's nothing to lose at this point.
And don't forget, there's more League of Legends action after this game, too.
Yeah, definitely.
One more best of 3 for today. And they're diving into Hanjaro here. Kez is just asserting his advantage. He doesn't even take any damage. Look at him go. Bubble comes in, they hit Chumpjon, and they're just going to make their way straight for this inhibitor. I don't know what Monster Kittens can do right now. They're clearing out the waves effectively, but that's not stopping the champions from just beating in on this inhibitor. And a sub 20-minute inhibitor is a really, really good place to be in if you're Complexity White right now.
Yeah, that's just so rough. 13,000 gold in the lead at 20 minutes into the game. And this is even bigger of a lead than we saw in the first game. This is just so rough for them. And you said it at that inhibitor turret. What are they supposed to do? Maokai can run in, but he's almost going to die instantly. And going in almost seems like a death sentence, because if they get shockwaved and equalizer, then they're just going to lose the game anyway. So
that ball positioning too, so aggressive.
Look at them. They don't even want to get anywhere near that ball.
Just keep it away from me.
Yep.
They even have a pink ward up there by the wolf pit too, so they're able to stop any wards. Tidal wave comes out, gonna hit one, no more though. Shockwave is not used yet. Equalizer gonna zone them as well as push them back into their base. Flashing forward, West Right's on a rampage, looking for more, burning down the tree. Mabry baby gonna find himself 1 kill, and he's 4-0. And a lot of the people here for Complexity White have 0 deaths, so on those sprees and just keeping that pressure mounted.
They basically just used the Nami ultimate as sort of a deterrent. Say, hey, this is a warning shot. You guys better get away from the turret or we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't manage to make it back to their inhibitor turret in time ended up dying. And that was a great equalizer by West Rice, blocking him out right in the middle of their inhibitor turret and their escape path. So this is just Complexity White just seemingly bullying out Monster Kittens from the entire game.
Indeed. I mean, they could just keep going down mid. They could even force a Baron here. I mean, with Shockwave, Cataclysm, Equalizer, even Tidal Wave, you can't fight into that.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's not even going to be hard for them to break that shell. They've already gotten that shell broken in the bottom lane with the inhibitor turret as well as the inhibitor. They've just proven that they can even engage past turrets and still come out incredibly victorious in these team fights.
Jeez, suffocating them completely.
Yeah, Kez has absolutely no fear of being caught out right now. He's just roaming around the map, placing down wards. They could all be in that bush, and he just wouldn't care. He could just flag on drag out, and he wouldn't even be in danger.
Probably just Cataclysm in anyway, and just have the ball on him like that.
Yeah.
He's waiting for somebody to face check. He wants it. He's going to go for it.
He's got the ball on him.
Now, Dissonance comes through, flag and drag in. Cataclysm on top of Hanjaro. The ball is still there, but they don't want to commit Shockwave, so they'll take his flash instead.
Yeah, that was a great move there by Complexity White. They're just playing this one so crisp, making sure while West Rice is pushing that wave up top that they're getting vision control across the map and applying pressure so that Monster Kittens does not even want to step outside their base to try and clear these waves. And here we go.
As Chumpton did a bunch of damage, but a 4-man Shockwave comes on in, and that's going to be 2 dead. Looking for more as Arc second follows suit, and that's 3 going down. Looking for more, flashing forward. Mabry baby with the Piercing Light. Gonna be unstoppable. Can he find the kill to Sojin?
West Rice wants it.
He's got the harpoon, 1 and 2, and that's the ace. They're all dead, and it looks like that's just the game done.
Yeah, Complexity White. I mean, these death timers actually aren't that long because
they could come back up. I mean,
it's still super early in this game. Hanjaro's actually up in 3 seconds, so they might not be able to end the game yet, but even if they don't, this game is pretty much in the bag for Complexity White. They could literally do whatever they want for the next 10 minutes and still have a good chance of winning.
True. They could just go Baron, just clear out the jungle, do what they want.
Sit in base.
They even just lost a Nexus turret there, so these super creeps too strong.
At this point, when you have 2 inhibitors down so early in the game, those those super minions become really hard to take down, especially when they come in pairs because they buff each other. And if you don't have a lot of that, like, armor penetration or magic penetration or even just levels or in general, it's a team effort to be able to take down those waves of super minions. And that just allows complexity to get even more control over a map that they already pretty much own.
Yeah, it's just real estate for them at this point. They're just gonna go rent out Baron for a little bit and get that buff. As it just falls very quickly. I mean, already up, Maybe Baby, he's got an item and a half, maybe even 2 items if you count the BF sword, I guess.
Well,
one whole item.
Hoofspark has finished that Trinity Force, so
finally.
Here comes the power spike from Corki.
And there goes Hanjaro.
Yeah.
Bubble comes through. Oh, connects in the equalizer as well. That's going to be a bunch of damage on top of it. Calling to follow to force out the flash. Tidal Wave comes in. He's just going to
teleporting.
TP out. And, oh, they get him beforehand. And Maybe Baby going godlike. Sojin going to be able to get out in that bush. And this should be game.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to push straight up on this inhibitor that they already have here. There's not much that's going to be able to stand in their way. They do have the Baron buffs. They're going to have super minutes coming up. Look at this positioning. They are just hugging the fountain right now. Second Nexus turret's going to fall. It looks like that one's going to be game.
All right, so there's the Nexus taking some damage, and once they decide to commit to it, the game will be over. But they're kind of messing around a bit. There's the Shockwave flash in from Golden Blue. Double kill comes in from Westrice, and Arc second got himself a kill there on Maybe Baby. That's a lot of gold for him, but the game is done. He won't even get to use it, and that's it. Looks like Monster Kittens are out.
Yeah.
Complexity White are moving forward to play against Curse Academy, so that's going to be an exciting game. But there's more League of Legends action coming up soon. It's going to be Team Coast taking on Call Gaming
versus Call Gaming. Yeah, that match was really exciting, and the second match sort of I was hoping would set the tone for the rest of the series, but unfortunately Monster Kittens in that first game and that third game really just didn't show up. It seemed like when Chump John wasn't on that comfort pick, that Aurelia pick, he just didn't have much impact on the game. And Hoofspark in all 3 matches just didn't really have the impact that I'm sure his team needed him to. But you really got to hand it to Complexity White. They showed a definite style in these games. Very control heavy, very vision control heavy. And in those 2 games that they had landslide victories, it didn't seem like they left any opportunities on the table for Monster Kittens to be able to come back in the game.
Yep, Monster Kittens, when they got that first dragon in the second game, it kind of all just unwound from Complexity White. They're like, wait, we don't have control. Uh-oh, what's happening? And they kind of fell apart. Yeah. But we're going to be going to a quick break, and when we come back from that, the last match of tonight between Team Coast Gaming and Call Gaming is going to be coming up for you guys, and we'll see you after that break.